28-year-old barber Joseph Carrier is suing his ex-girlfriend, 33-year-old nurse's aide Lenora Green, for $3,000 he claims she stole. Lenora says she only took what she was owed.
Come to order. All rise. Now, this is case number 94 on the calendar in the matter of Carrier versus Green. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Mr. Carrier, Miss Green was a former girlfriend of yours?
Yes.
And according to your complaint, she stole some money from you.
Yes, she did.
So tell me about it.
It was the date that I left my job to go to my house because I had a break-in there.
When did you have a break-in in your house?
The same day.
Did somebody call you that you had had a break-in?
Yes, the cops called me and told me I had a break-in at my house.
So you left your job immediately?
Yes, I did.
Where were you working?
I was working at Pure Cuts Barbershop on my barber. I cut hair.
Okay, and you got home, what did you find?
I found my money. That's one thing that I did
When you got home, were
find.
the police there?
Was the police there? Yes, the police was there.
Were they inside your house or outside of your
They
house?
were outside the house.
What evidence of a break-in was there?
The back door to my house was kicked in, but when the alarm had went off, so they must have scared them and they ran off. And I went in the house and I checked everything. The cops came in, they checked everything with me. I did my rounds and everything, then I checked.
So the police were with you at all times?
Yes, they came in with me.
Of course, because they were afraid there might be an intruder in there.
Right.
Okay. Now, at that point, you had some money in your house.
Yes, I did.
And where did you have the money in your house?
I had the money under my mattress.
How much money did you have?
It was about $3,000.
What do you mean about $3,000?
$3,000, that's how much it was.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And so you went to look there first,
Yes.
and the police were with you?
Yes.
Okay. And you showed them the money, and you said, no, the money wasn't taken?
Right.
Okay. So then what did you do?
I took the money from under there after I finished talking to the cops. I left, and I went to my mother's house to take the money there because I feel like it was a safe place for me to take my money. I walked in the house, my mother was gone, and Lenora Green was there. So I continued to put the money up.
Was she still your girlfriend at that time?
No, no, not at all. She said she was there to babysit the kids while my mother had run an errand.
Okay.
So I put the money in the dresser drawer, and then I left to go back to work to cut hair. I stayed there for a little while, then I went back to my mother's house to see if she was there, and she was there. Then I said, okay, Mom, I want to show you where I put my money at. And I walked in the room where Lenora was sitting at, and I looked inside of the drawer, and it was gone, and she was gone. And that's about everything that happened. And I questioned her about it. I went straight to her mother's house, her house, and everything. I asked her, where's my money at, and everything, and this and that and the third. And she's still trying to give me this old runaround. And I know that she took it because she was the only one there.
What time did you bring the money to your mother's house?
It had to be about 2. In between 2 and 3.
And what time did you come back to check on the money?
About 4 o'clock. That's what time I came back because my mother, she wasn't gone that long of a time. I took the money there. I went back to the barbershop. I cut a head. It only takes me 20 minutes to cut a head. And after I finished cutting the hair...
How far away is the
about
barbershop?
15 minutes.
You didn't let me finish my question. How far away from the barbershop is your mother's house?
About 15 minutes.
15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. You cut a head, so you just cut one head. You came right back to your mother's house.
Right.
Who else lives in your mother's house?
Nobody. Her and the kids. And the kids are too little just for me to bring.
Those are the only people that live there, just your mother and the children.
My mother, my cousin Lisa, and the kids.
Well, then you just added another person, your cousin Lisa.
My cousin Lisa wasn't there at all.
I just asked you who regularly lives there.
My mother and Lisa.
How old is Lisa?
Lisa's 30.
And she wasn't there when you got there?
No, she wasn't.
Okay. Okay, Miss Green, I'll hear from you.
Yes, I was over his mom's house babysitting for her. She had to run and take care of some business. It was about 2 o'clock that he came. And when he came in, he asked where his mom was. And I asked him where my money was.
What money?
I loaned him $100 when we were together. That was the only time that I told him that I needed this money back.
Did she have any discussion with you about money when you got there?
Did she have a discussion?
Yeah, did she have any discussion with you?
Yeah, she said something about the $100.
Well, that's what I'm asking you.
And I told her that I will pay her as soon as I get a chance. As soon as I get it, I will give it to you.
But you had it, so why didn't you give it to her?
Because he lied.
I didn't feel that I wanted to give it to her right then and there.
Why?
Why? Because I didn't want to give it to her. I mean, just the time, it's plenty of times she told me to wait on things. That's the thing, I'm going to tell her to wait. If I got it, I'm going to give it to you. And
Well,
she knows that I was going out of town.
Tell me what she knows. I'm just curious. If you acknowledge the fact that you owed her $100 and she said to you, where's my money? And you had, according to you, $3,000. I just
Well, for
curious
one,
as to, you didn't let me finish. Just curious as to why you didn't say, well, I happen to have it, caught me at a good time, here's the $100 I owe you.
At the time, I didn't want to give it to her.
Okay, so go
He's
ahead.
stingy. That's why.
No, just tell me. So he said,
So he said that he didn't have it, which I knew he was lying because every time I asked him for money, after spending it on him, he would lie and say he didn't have it. Okay, anyway, he went to the room, into his mother's room, and the baby was wet. He was in there for maybe 5 minutes. So I went in after him. I laid the baby on the bed. I changed the baby. I seen him over at the dresser, fiddling in the drawer. So after I changed the baby, I came out. Then he came out and he left. And when he left, yes, Your Honor, I did go back and look in the drawer to see what he was fiddling with because he always has money.
Had no business.
He always has money and says he never has it.
okay,
Yes,
so you went to the drawer, you fiddled with it, and?
I went and saw the money and I took what he owed me,
Which was?
$100.
How much money was in there altogether? Yeah, but don't tell me you didn't count it because...
It was 3. He was right. It was 3. I did count it. It was 3, but I took what he owed me.
If you took what you owed, you touched the money. You shouldn't have no reason to be
I'm
in the
talking
drawer,
to the
period.
judge.
Mr. Carrier,
Thank you.
Mr. Carrier, don't speak to her. Don't
Because
speak
he
to
know
her.
he owed it to me anyway. He shouldn't even lie and said he didn't have it.
That's true. Were you angry, Miss Green, that he lied?
Yes, I was. I was angry.
Shh. How angry were you?
I was very angry, Judge, because I felt used.
Right.
Well, I feel you.
Shh, Mr. Carrier, how used, Miss Green?
Very used. Over 2 years worth, as long as about that time that we've been together.
A lot more than $100 worth.
That's all I took was $100.
You felt used a lot more than $100 worth.
I thought about it, but I didn't. I left it there. Maybe one of his other girlfriends took it.
Wasn't nobody there. He was the only one there.
Mr. Carrier, what part of don't speak to her didn't you understand?
He don't understand anything.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joseph Carrier says ex-girlfriend Lenora Green stole $3,000 from him. Lenora says she only took $100.
Where'd you get $3,000 from?
Cutting hair.
Why don't you put it in a bank?
I didn't have a bank account at the time. That's why I give my money to my mother, but she could put it inside of her bank account.
Are you paid in cash?
I just give my
Are you
money.
paid in cash?
Yes, I am.
Do you file tax returns?
Yes, I do.
Did you file tax returns last year?
No, I didn't have to.
Just answer my question.
No, I didn't have to.
Very interesting.
Well, that was.
Who is this?
That's my sister, and she picked me up from his mom's house that day, and
Tell me your name.
I'm Michelle Funderburg.
You picked her up that day?
Mm-hmm.
At what time?
It was a little after 2:30.
How many times have you babysat for these children?
often. I babysit her maybe a couple times. I keep in touch with her because she's a beautiful woman.
Have you babysat for her since?
No.
She's angry?
Yes.
She's
Actually,
not allowed
she's...
over there at all.
See, mind your business.
Go ahead.
She's upset a little bit, but she always stays in the neutral corner, though.
When your witness picked you up, did she pick you up because his mother had come home?
Yes.
And when his mother came home, did she come home alone?
Yes.
And that was at about 2:30.
2:33, between there.
When you got there, Mr. Carrier, your mother was home.
Yes.
Were the babies asleep or awake?
They was awake.
Shh, I didn't ask you.
Awake.
Look at my eyes. Were the babies asleep or awake?
Awake.
She's not talking to you. They were awake, Your Honor.
When she came home.
Yes.
So she was busy with the babies.
Yes.
And you owed her $100.
Yes.
Miss Green, beyond a reasonable doubt, and I assume that you reported this theft to the police, Mr. Carrier, is that right?
Right.
And the police ultimately told you that without definitive proof, they considered proof by beyond a reasonable doubt that you didn't have a claim against her, you didn't see her take the money. Is that right?
Right.
The burden of proof here is somewhat less. I have to be comfortable by a preponderance of the evidence, which is more evidence than not, that Miss Green actually took that money. So what is it? I'm speaking. So what is it that suggests to me that Miss Green actually took that money?
Well, I have.
I'm speaking.
She's not talking to you.
What?
You know, one
Okay.
case, he was
Okay,
so
I'm quiet.
You think he got it? I
think
thought he
he's-
got it before. What makes me feel as if Miss Green took that money was opportunity first. She had the opportunity, she was there. Inclination, she was really angry. Here she sees you put some money in a drawer, and when she asked for her money, you blew her off. She goes into the drawer and she sees not only her $100, but a whole lot of other money, which she acknowledged, she picked up, counted, but she was really angry. She believed she had been used for the 2 years in the course of your relationship, whatever. She felt as if she was entitled to that money. But more importantly, when her sister came to pick her up, she only came to pick her up because your mother had come home. Look at me. I'm speaking. So between the time your mother came home and the time you arrived back there, nobody else was in the house. And I find that it is sort of incredulous to think that somebody else came in, knew exactly where that money was, and took it. Now, you may have to share this information with the Internal Revenue Service since you didn't pay any taxes on that money, but that's the story for another day. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,900. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She took it. I know she took it.
She might have took some of the money because we did go shopping after I picked her up.
She knows she did owe me $3,000.
He should have paid it. He wouldn't have got played.
And now the next case.
All parties on Williams versus Hamilton Booker. Step forward, please.
49-year-old painter Alfonso Williams Sr. is suing 50-year-old elementary school teacher Louise Hamilton and her son, 14-year-old student Christopher Booker. Alfonso claims Christopher shot out the window of his home with a BB gun.
Mr. Williams, you are a neighbor of the defendants?
The witness is my neighbor.
The witnesses?
The witness for the defendant.
Well, how far do you live away from this young man?
About 2.5 to 3 miles.
Okay, do you know who he is?
Yes.
Had you known him from before this incident?
No, I haven't.
It is your claim that Chris had some BB guns, and he and a friend shot out a window in your house.
Really, 3 windows were damaged because one was the storm when it went through the interior window too. Before the BB hit the window, my granddaughter hit the floor when it came through the window because she was upstairs with her cousin.
Were you at home at the time?
Yes, I was.
Did you see them shoot out the window?
Yes, I saw them right before I came outside. I looked out of my dining room window, and that's when I saw them. Then I came out of my house, came around the side of my house, and they started running from the house and ran into his house.
How many boys were there?
It was just them two at the time.
Did you see their faces?
Well, that's the first time I ever seen. I seen them when I looked out the window, yes.
What did you see them doing when you looked out the
When
window?
I seen looking at, they was holding BB pistols in their hands when I looked outside and seen them, though.
Did you chase them?
By the time I got to the side of my house, there's like a little entrance way going back to the witness's house. I seen both of them run to the witness's house, and I came around and knocked on the door, and no one answered.
Did you finally see them again?
No, I didn't get a chance to see them again since that day, but only with the witness. That's the one person I seen after that.
The witness?
Right.
Which witness?
Right there.
You?
Jordan.
Step up. You know Chris?
Yes.
Step up here. Did he come into your house?
Chris?
Yeah.
Yes.
And was that in the afternoon?
About 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock at night?
Mm-hmm.
Did he come running into your house?
He came to my door and knocking.
Who was he with?
I think he was by himself.
When you say you think he was by himself, could he have been with somebody else?
I don't know, probably yes.
Who let him in?
He didn't come in the house.
He was just knocking at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody let him in.
No.
Why not?
I don't know, we were just sitting there watching TV.
So you decided not to let him in?
Yes.
I can see I'm going to get a whole bunch of information from you. Sit down. There was one other boy involved. According to your complaint, the other boy's parents paid for half the cost of the windows.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was that other boy?
Right there.
This
Jordan.
boy?
Yes.
Are you his parent?
Yes, I am.
You paid for half the cost of the window?
Yes.
Step up. What's your last name?
Sanderson?
Miss Sanderson. Why did you pay for half the cost of the window?
The reason I paid for half the cost of the window is, as he said, our properties, back up to each other. And I felt responsible because the kids were at my house when the incident occurred. I think my son thought you were speaking about Mr. Williams coming to the door, not Chris. I don't know if
I'm talking about Chris.
Okay.
So tell me about it.
When I came home that evening, the police were at my house with Mrs. Williams. When I came in the driveway, I asked what happened, and she said that the boys had been over by their window. I said, had anything happened? And she said that Mr. Williams had come out and chased him back to the house. I said to the police that day that I felt responsible. They shouldn't have been back there. If they'd been there to see his granddaughter, they should have gone to the door. And so I agreed to be responsible for half the window. And that's what I did.
Well, I see you're a witness for the defendant. Why are you a witness for the defendant?
Because Chris was to the best of my knowledge, not involved in this at all.
You don't know.
I know that the only window
You know
that
that Chris had 2 BB guns, right?
Yes.
That we know. He didn't have 2 goldfish in his knapsack. He didn't have 2 golf clubs in his knapsack. He had 2 BB guns in his backpack, right?
Yeah.
What else did you have in your knapsack?
That's all.
So before you left for his house, you didn't pack your homework books, right?
No.
You didn't pack a mac and cheese, right? You didn't pack a devil dog. You packed your 2 BB guns, right?
Yep.
Did you pack them loaded?
Yes.
And his window just happened to get shot out.
Yes.
And you happened to be going over there to try to get in touch with his granddaughter.
No, that wasn't me.
Who went over to try to see his granddaughter?
My 2 friends.
Had you given your 2 friends your BB guns?
Nope.
Did they have their own BB guns?
No.
What were you doing with the BB guns, Chris?
Well, he had a target over his house, so
It's 9 o'clock at night. You're not going target practicing at 9 o'clock at night with your BB guns.
tell the truth. Yeah. Yes. We went over there.
Where are the targets?
They were in his house. Because we were in his basement.
And you were target shooting in his basement
Yes.
with your BB guns?
Yes.
Never used them outside.
No.
So it's just coincidental. Do you have BB guns?
No.
What about the other 2 friends that he was talking about? Do they have BB guns?
No.
Only he has BB guns.
Yes.
Good. How much was the window that was
Well,
broken?
police department made an estimate of $200 for the 2 windows.
Well, how much did you pay?
I paid $100.
Listen, BB guns are dangerous. They take out eyes, they take out eardrums. Why do you allow your son to have 2 BB guns?
I allowed him to have them because I bought targets and they practice and shoot them in my basement and at her house also.
Just too coincidental to me. Nobody else in the neighborhood has BB guns except him. He's got 2. He saw 2 people shooting BBs in his backyard. His granddaughter ducked down because the BB went right through the glass. Your son should not have a BB gun. Is there any reason for him to have a BB gun?
No, not especially. Just
Take
for
it away.
entertainment. Yes, I do have
stupid.
them, but you know.
It's stupid. It's not smart. Children can get hurt.
Yes.
So why would you allow your child to have any weapon that could cause an injury?
Well, I assume if they were supervised, if they're in the house in the basement, they're
That's
not
not
firing
being
them outside.
supervised. She wasn't there. And you're not always there in the basement when they're
Well,
shooting
I
in your
am when
house.
they're at my house. Yes, I am.
You are not in the basement with them when
Oh,
they're
no,
shooting.
I'm not in the
Of course
basement.
not. So, BB gun, you take it, you play around, you say, I'm going to shoot you, bend down, whatever. That's how children not only lose eyes, but they lose their lives. So it's not smart for him to have a BB gun. It's going to cost you $100. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah, this is case number 78 on the calendar in the matter of Shuren versus Brown. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats, please.
Ms. Shuren, the defendant was your boyfriend, who you claim used your credit card with your permission, with a promise that he would return the money that he used on the credit card. Is that right? Mm-hmm. The defendant says that he has a band that travels and that he did use your credit card.
Yes, ma'am.
And the credit card was used for your expenses at a time when you decided that you wanted to travel with the band. And if I understand you, Mr. Brown, your defense is that when you and the members of your band travel together, you minimize those expenses by sharing rooms, lodging, etc. You had to have a separate room with her.
Yes, ma'am.
You explained that carefully to her so that I assume that most of the charges that were made on her credit card were lodging expenses, right?
There
Good,
was some-
because that's your defense. So this is going to be an easy case. Let me see the expenses on the credit card.
Yes, ma'am, I have...
I mean, I read your defense, so without any further fanfare, let me see if we have a whole bunch of lodging expenses.
I have the credit card, and I made a list here, too.
Well, we have a motel in Loxley, Alabama. Then we have a charge for Guitar Center, Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your charge?
That was the charge.
Is that your charge?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a motel? Is
No,
it a
ma'am.
hotel? Motel or hotel?
No, ma'am.
What is it?
It's a guitar store.
Does she play the guitar?
No, ma'am.
So it was your guitar.
It was equipment.
It was equipment. It wasn't a guitar.
for special effects.
Shh, just a second.
Sorry.
It's not a hotel. Explain me.
Okay. Some of the things she bought on the credit card were gifts. There was the one thing that she bought me at Guitar Center was microphones, but that was paid back in cash.
Did he pay you back for that?
No, ma'am. I have a copy of all the payments that were made. I have the checkbook.
Do you have any proof that you paid her back this $331 for the Guitar Center?
No, ma'am.
Perfect. $331. Then we have goodies. What is that? Is that your charge?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Music Gear, Columbus, Georgia. Is that a motel?
No, ma'am.
What is it?
That's a music store.
It's a music store for you.
I assume, yes.
What's Fat Tuesday? Gulf Shore, Alabama.
That's where he stayed. That's where they were playing at Fat Tuesdays.
Then we have oil, gasoline, I assume, in Awassa, Alabama. Some big gigs. $18. What's that?
I'm not sure.
Well, where do you come from?
Pine Mountain, Georgia.
In Georgia.
Pine Mountain.
So if there's a charge here from Alabama for gasoline, that would be you.
Not necessarily, because Columbus, Georgia, and Pine Mountain is right on the line to where you can. It's crossover in Alabama.
It's a 1-hour drive. May I say something, please? I had went through all the charges and I put it in order. First charge was the Guitar Center, where he bought equipment, $331. Goodies Columbus was where he bought clothing. Played Against Sports, he wanted to play golf
Just a
while
minute.
he was in
Just a
Gulf
minute,
Shores.
just a minute. I'm looking at the credit card bill.
Okay, see, but I put it all in order.
Those are your lists. That's
in the
your
way.
list.
I thought it would be easier for you to look at.
No. I like to look here. I like to look here. Williams Super Center in Phoenix City, Alabama. What is that?
I have no idea what that is.
Well, maybe you'll explain it to me. Ms. Shuren.
That's the Walmart Supercenter in Phoenix City.
Oh, okay.
Walmart
WM.
Supercenter.
See, I'm so old-fashioned. It's the Walmart Supercenter. Do you know what that's for?
Is that the one for $240?
Yes.
That was a Nintendo, Your Honor.
Nintendo.
That was also a gift.
You didn't sleep on it or with it, did you?
No.
Where's the Nintendo?
It's at my house now.
Good, then you pay for it. $240.56. Old Glory Distribution T-shirts, $125.60. Is that a bill that you're charging to him?
It's all his, Your Honor. I never used any of it.
Any of this credit card?
No, the agreement was that I would get the credit card in my name for his use and that he would make the payments.
You mean all of these payments?
He would make payments on the credit card.
You never used this for yourself
I
at all?
never used any of it for my purpose.
Oh, okay. So I have to make sure that...
It was a brand new card, never used. The membership fee, $50. He went to Guitar Center to get equipment. He got golfing equipment to play golf. And then he went to Gulf Shores. And then there's gas, there's Fat Tuesdays where they played, his food, there's the hotel. And when he got back from the trip to Gulf Shores and I got the first credit card statement and saw how much he had charged, I told him that the next time he uses that card, he better bring me some receipts. And then that was the last that he used of it.
So the balance on this card, the new balance is $1,097, sir, and it's not all for lodging.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kimberly Shuren says ex-boyfriend Steve Brown owes for unpaid credit card charges. Steve says they're Kimberly's charges.
Guitar Center, eating, gasoline, a lot of gasoline, because I assume you did a lot of traveling with your band.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All these things that are on this card were not purchased by me or even for me.
Really? You want to look over this and tell me
Yes, ma'am.
what?
I have a list.
Shh, stop with your list.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to see your list. I want him to look at the actual charges on this credit card.
Go ahead and look at them.
Tell me which ones aren't yours, sir. Let's...
May I say something?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Shuren, you don't get any cameos or any awards for being stupid and giving somebody a credit card.
That's right.
Right? I've been saying that for enough years so that any normal person would not do that. Bert, how old is your oldest child?
18.
She have your credit card?
No, Judge. She watches the show, too.
Yeah, right. She may have asked.
No.
Didn't even ask.
Didn't even ask. Knew better.
Knew better.
She's got 2 jobs, though.
And you love her.
I'm crazy about her.
And she doesn't have your credit card.
And she can't have my credit card.
And you know her for 18 years.
I've known her all those years.
You got it, Miss Shuren?
Yes, ma'am.
As far as,
Okie dokie.
yes, ma'am. As far as everything on here, the only things I can't actually prove them, but the service merchandise, I don't, for 5862.
That was that blue boombox, the radio?
Mr. Brown, why don't you
Yes,
use your
ma'am.
own credit card?
Because he said it's
Shh. Why don't you use your own credit card?
I don't have one right now.
Is this the first time you've used a woman's credit card?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to ask the rest of the members of your band. All right. Well, I don't know what you marked here, sir.
I didn't mark anything. The only thing that's on there is the gas receipts. She acts as if she doesn't drive and put gas in her car.
No, what she's saying, sir, is she didn't use this credit card at all. That you used the credit card. You were going to look through this and tell me which charges were not yours.
There's no charges on there that I could prove that weren't mine.
Oh, what an easy case. My own information. How long did you know him before you gave him this credit card?
a year and a half.
Were you living together?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who paid the rent?
I did, and my sister.
Who paid the telephone?
Me and my sister.
Who paid the gas and electric?
We did. Me and my sister.
So that went on for a year and a half before you gave him the credit card.
Yes.
Judgment for the
Your
plaintiff
Honor.
in the amount of $1,154.94. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
So I thought, since he wasn't paying any rent or any utilities, that he would at least have the money to pay the credit card.
Everything was fine until we broke up, and then she decided that I owed her for everything she's ever spent.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Coleman versus Denies. Step forward, please.
20-year-old sales associate Michelle Coleman is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old auto painter Brad Denies, for illegally repossessing her car. Brad is countersuing, claiming Michelle wrecked 2 of his cars.
Ms. Coleman, you and the defendant were engaged to be married, and according to your complaint, during the course of your engagement, you were not engaged.
We were not engaged.
That's a lie.
So
Don't. So then let's get to the second thing maybe we can agree on, that you bought a car
Yes.
that is in both your names, as well as the car loan.
Yes.
Then according to your complaint, you broke up, you kept the car. For some reason, which you will explain to me, the car was impounded. He got the car out of impound, paid the fees to get it out of impound, he kept the car. You want all the payments back that you made on the car plus your down payment. How much was the down payment?
$4,000.
He is counterclaiming for 2 cars that you allegedly damaged in April of 2000.
Yes.
Sir, do you admit or deny that she put down the down payment?
She used her check to put the down payment, yes. But half the money was mine because she owed me rent.
Where'd she owe you rent from?
From the time we lived together, which was 9 months.
That's a lie. We never lived
Just a
together.
minute.
Yes, we did live together.
Just a second. So what you're telling me is part of the money was yours because she owed you money.
Yes,
Did you tell her that at the time?
yes.
Look at me and tell me what
Okay.
you said to her when you signed the papers for the car loan.
I said that we are going to go in this car together, 50-50, because you were saving up for a car. When you lived with me, I didn't make you pay no rent, no utilities, so you could save up for your own car,
And what?
and that's it.
And that's it. Okay, so let me explain something to you. You didn't put any money down towards the car. The fact, Mr. Denies,
Yes.
that you just said to me, there was an agreement, and I'm taking your word, that you did live together, and your agreement was that she wouldn't pay any bills, but save up to buy a car. That's what you
Yes.
just said to me.
Yes.
Fine. Put your hand down. She didn't owe you the money. So $4,000 you put down on the car.
Yes.
Okay. And then you drove the car for how many months?
About 4 months, 5 months.
Until what date did you drive the car?
The car was impounded in November. So November
How was the car impounded? Under what circumstances?
I started seeing a new guy, and I loaned him the car. He didn't tell me he didn't have a license. He called me and told me that my car was impounded.
You got the car out of impound.
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you getting the car out of impound.
I called her about 2 weeks before it got out of impound, and I said, what are we going to do about the car? She says, well, if you bail it out, then you can take over the $800 payments. And I go, you want me to do that? She goes, I don't care.
Okay. Now, when he bailed the car out, when he got it out of impound December 18th, did you have any further conversation with him?
Yes, I did. I told him that I was going to fight for it because I wanted my car back.
So did you sue him in December?
No, I did not.
Did you sue him in January?
No, I did not.
Did you sue him in February?
No, I did not.
Did you sue him in March?
That's when I started getting everything going.
Did you sue him in March?
No, I did not.
What were you driving?
I had bought another car.
Right. How did I know that? How much did it cost you to get the car out of impound?
$805.
You have a receipt for that?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Let me see it, please.
It was supposed to actually cost $795, but they charged us an extra $15 for cleanup of glass because her and her boyfriend broke a bunch of glass outside.
$805. So we are deducting $805 from the $4,000. Now let's get to your counterclaim. You say that while together she damaged 2 of your cars. You want to tell me about that, Miss Coleman?
I was pulling into the driveway, and his 66 Mustang doesn't have power steering, and I didn't turn it hard enough, and I dented the door of his other car.
Do you have a paid bill with regard to that?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I see it, please?
Yeah. Spoke on.
These are estimates. Was the work done on the car?
Those are receipts, actually, ma'am.
They're both preliminary estimates.
Ma'am, he did all the work himself.
It says, if you read in it, it says paid in cash, and it has a date that it was paid in cash. My father paid for it.
What, sir? Step up.
Your Honor, those are art copies of the original.
Who paid this money?
I did.
Well, let's see if this gentleman knows anything about this.
There was nothing wrong with the quarter panel.
Yes, good morning. This is Judge Judy Scheindlin. Who am I speaking to? Can you tell me what your job is there? You're a paint prepper. Okay. Do you work on most of the cars that come through there? Okay. I have Brad Denys, D-E-N-Y-S. Do you know him? Do you recall doing any work on a 1966 Ford Mustang and a 1992 Ford Mustang? You don't. If work was done on those 2 cars, you know, the old Mustangs, and it involved painting, that would have been your job. So you do all of that, okay? And you have not worked on either a 66 or a 92 Ford Mustang? No. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. They didn't paint your car there.
Yes, they did.
You know who was on the phone? The only person in the shop that does the paint prep work on cars. I'm going to dismiss without prejudice your counterclaim. The 4 months in car payments that you paid, you had the use of your car. You drove it.
Yes.
Pay for it. He's not going to pay for that. And I find that through your own negligence, you allowed your car to be driven by someone who had absolutely no reason to drive your car because they had a bad license.
Yes.
And in order to get the car out of the impound, he in fact had to pay $805 to do that.
I had the money to go down.
And I further find that you had no intention of getting the car out because you went and you bought yourself a new car. So I am deducting the $805 from the $4,000 that you put down as a down payment. What are you doing with this car now, Mr. Denies?
I drive it.
Good. So you put down for that car $3,195. That was your down payment. That you have to pay her back.
$1,500 of the dollars was towards tax. $1,500 also was toward a extended warranty, which I did not want.
Who cares? You got it. You bought it. And you're going to enjoy it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,195. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah, this is case number 125 on the calendar in the matter of Sconce versus Hogan. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Mr. Sconce, according to your complaint, you and the defendant were engaged to be married. You purchased a wedding ring and engagement set for her. You purchased it from her father.
Yes.
You paid how much for it?
$2,500 cash.
Who is this?
That's my father.
Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Step up. Your last name is Hogan?
Yes, ma'am.
Did he purchase a wedding set from you?
Yes, he did.
For how much?
$2,000.
Okay. Where did you get the wedding set from?
They were from my ex-wife.
Now, the engagement and the wedding was called off,
Yes.
and since you say you took this wedding set to have it appraised, and it was appraised at $4,000, you want $4,000.
Between $4,000 and $4,500, yes.
So you want between $4,000 and
And
$4,500.
I do have the paperwork for that, too.
I don't care about the paper.
Okay.
You don't get the appraised value of it, sir.
For insurance and stuff you did.
You don't get the appraised value of it, sir.
Okay.
You get what you paid for it if she, as she says, she sold it because she needed the cash. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what she says. I'll get to you in a minute. So I don't care what it was appraised at. You spent $2,000 for it unless you can establish to me that you spent $2,500.
I have a check, the canceled check, showing what it was written for and the amount.
Let me see.
But it's not made out to him, it's made out to cash, because that's what he deals in.
Okay. Says $2,500.
No, ma'am.
Did he give you $2,500? Did you give him any money back?
He gave me $2,000 cash and $100 bills, and that's what I asked for from the beginning.
Okay. Who cashed this check?
I did, before I went to Hesperia.
Okay, I'm just looking at it. I was
Okay.
going to ask whose account number it
That
is.
was our joint account at the time.
Oh, okay. Where's the ring?
I sold it back to my father.
You sold it back to your father.
Yes, I did.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the ring?
I have sold it since, too.
I don't believe any of you. I mean, I don't believe you. You want the value of the ring. I don't believe you that it was $2,500. I believe it was $2,000. I believe you cashed your own check and gave him $2,000.
Okay.
And you said you sold it, and you left out that you sold it back to your father.
Yes, I did.
How long had you had this ring, by the way, this ring set?
A year.
And when did your daughter sell it back to you?
She sold it back to me probably 3 weeks after they split up.
Mm-hmm. And how much after that did you sell it to somebody?
To somebody else, $800.
How much after that did you sell it to somebody else?
$800.
How much after that did you sell it? Excuse me.
Oh,
How long after that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Did you sell it to somebody else?
A month.
Who did you sell it to?
Don't know the person's name.
See how I don't believe you? Doesn't make any difference for the purposes of his lawsuit. He gets $2,000 back because he had no basis to sell his ring. So that takes care of your case. Nice and easy. Now let's get to your counterclaim. Let me hear.
Okay, after we split up, he continued to use my credit cards. I found out he had been hiding bills from me. I found out that he had been using that. He forged my name on several documents.
One thing at a time.
Okay.
You had credit cards that you let him use while you were together?
No. He never had permission to use it, but he was hiding the statements from me and
Show
paper
me.
checks.
Show me.
Here.
I have the statements here with all the U-Haul charges on there.
And I've got proof that she got the credits back right here. It's an account history of our joint storage room, and it has the dates.
I've
It has
never
the
been
dates of
credited
February.
back.
She didn't leave until the end of March. So
I don't know what you're talking about. First thing, you say U-Haul it? What is it?
U-Haul is like
company.
a storage center. It's a moving center.
Okay. Did you have property in storage?
No.
Not anymore, she doesn't.
No, I never had anything.
You're lying.
Everything I
You're
had was
lying.
closed.
Don't speak to her.
I never had anything in storage.
Let me see what you have.
I have the credit card statements, and I also have where he forged my signature on his storage unit with my credit card number because I had paid for a moving van when we lost our house for our apartment.
I didn't forge any signatures. She put this credit card on as a joint storage room. I have the dates. We were still together when this was started. When she left, she didn't inform me that she was canceling this and getting the credits back. I almost sold my stuff on a lien sale. And I have the 3 reversals to her card here. She's already gotten her money back.
Let me see.
It shows that it's been reversed. So she's gotten her money back.
Just a second. I have reverse credit. Did you get your money back?
No, they have
Well,
not. Nothing is credited to my account.
That was due.
And he
It's not going to
continues-
post yet, is my point.
Well, you better wait for another month. List looks like they reversed payment on all of these credits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What else?
I have car damage that he did on New Year's Eve that I paid for.
Your dad's
Just
father. Sorry.
I put it on my father's credit
Just
card.
a second. Wait. New Year's Eve, 2000.
Yes.
Right. Go ahead. Tell me what happened.
He was backing out of our driveway and hit a parked car.
Yes.
And he did damage to my car, and I ended up paying for it. I had to put it on my father's credit card, and I paid my father back the next day.
Okay. So let me see. Did you have an agreement with him?
It was,
By the way, when did you separate? Give me the date that you
End of
separated.
March.
I'm not speaking to you.
Sorry.
We split up April 1st, I moved out the 2nd.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michael Scott says his ex-fiancée, Vanessa Hogan, refuses to return his engagement ring. Vanessa says Michael is abusive, an alcoholic, and a gambler.
So what happened between December and April?
Well, throughout the whole relationship, he was...
I don't care about the whole relationship. What happened between December and April?
Between our relationship?
No, I'm talking about what happened with this car. Did he say, I'll take care of the bill?
Well, yeah, he said I'd take care of it, and I'll take care of it, and I got in a car accident, and at that place, another car accident. So while
Who got into another car?
I did. Somebody hit me on the other side, so I had the car fixed, and while
Just a second. Did you have the car fixed after the first accident or after the second?
After the second.
So you didn't have the car fixed after he got into this, after he backed
I
into
had to
something?
fix it during the time they were fixing the other damages.
So just a second. So what are you showing me?
That's the damages that he did.
How do I know that? Repairs, 338.27.
And there's the pictures.
Your Honor, if I might.
Just a second. There is no way that this car was fixed for $338
That
if he
was the
backed
price.
into something. $338? That's a $2,000 job if I
That
ever
is
saw
not.
one.
That is one door.
That 338?
Well, then I got ripped off.
No, you didn't get ripped off.
You got a good deal.
That would be a bargain to fix this for $338.
Well, then I got a good deal.
All right. What else? Come on.
I have
Let's
the
go.
lease that I had to continue paying for after he moved out, and he's listed as an occupant on there.
Just a second. You moved out.
I moved out.
Just a minute. You moved out.
Right, but I was still financially responsible for it because my name was listed on there. But he
So
was
why
listed-
didn't you take care of it before you moved out?
We tried to make it civil, and he said he was going to pay for it, and he didn't.
Just a second. You moved out on April 1st.
Yes.
Why?
Because he has a gambling problem. He's abusive. He does drugs.
Right.
Excuse?
Shh. Hey.
He had no job.
Yes.
He lost his house.
So why didn't you stay in the apartment and tell him to
Because
move?
he knew where it was, and he had threatened to kill me. So that's why I got the restraining order.
Where are you living now?
I'm living in Las Vegas with some other people across town, and I'm still paying for the apartment.
Is he living there?
No.
So? Neither
He's
of you are
listed on
living
the
there.
lease.
What?
But he's listed on the lease as an occupant.
He's the occupant. You're the lessee.
Okay.
So?
Okay.
You moved out. You have to take care of your business.
Okay.
What else?
Airline tickets that we put on our honeymoon that I don't know if he used the tickets or not, but they were e-tickets. They're non-transfundable, non-refundable.
Okay. Honeymoon tickets. Where were you supposed to go on your honeymoon?
Minnesota to visit his dying uncle.
And you had 2 tickets? That's so honeymoon. Minnesota.
Yes.
Did you go and visit your uncle in Minnesota?
No, my nephew passed away in Missouri during that time.
Okay.
And I was there.
All right. Is that where you were supposed to go on after you got married to Minnesota?
Yes, we were.
What happened to those tickets?
I have no idea.
How much were the cost of both of those tickets?
$397.90.
Who paid for them?
Apparently, Vanessa Hogan did. 'Cause
Okay.
This was left in our bill box.
So apparently she paid for them.
Yeah, it was under her name and everything.
Okay, so you're responsible for half of that, right? Yes.
If I didn't end the marriage, sure.
Whoever ended it, doesn't make any difference. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's why you get your rings back.
Can I explain why it didn't work out?
No.
Okay.
You are entitled to the rings back because the wedding never took place. I find that I believe that you paid $2,000 for the rings. I don't believe them that they sold them. I don't believe that, but whatever it is, she didn't give them back to you. She says she doesn't have them. I can't order her to return something she says she doesn't have, so you are entitled to your $2,000 back, less the $198 for one half of the plane tickets to your honeymoon of your dreams to visit your dying uncle in Minnesota. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,802.
Thank you.
That's
I did not excuse you. You may step out.
I was roofing her father's house, the gentleman that was in court. While I was down in Hesperia doing that, she was in bed with another man. That's what really ended it.
He was abusive, and he did drugs, and he had a gambling problem, so pretty much all those three combined.
She's fabricated a bunch of lies.
I'm just glad it's over with now. I don't have to deal with them anymore.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Vanderscoff versus Samuelian, step forward.
19-year-old network operations technician Tiffany Vanderscoff is suing her former friend, 20-year-old college student John Samuelian, for half of the hotel cost during their trip to London.
Ms. Vanderscoff, you claim in your papers that the defendant owes you for the cost of half of the hotels on a London trip that you took together. He did pay for his own plane ticket. You said there was an agreement that he paid for half of the hotels, which you put on your credit card. So tell me about it. When did you decide to take this trip?
In November of 2000, John and I agreed to take a trip to London in February, from February 9th to the 14th. We agreed that he would pay for his airfare and that we would split the cost of the hotel. We had to bounce around a few hotels because the first one that we stayed in was too costly. So we ended up going to a cab and saying, hey, can you take us to a Holiday Inn? Because we figured a Holiday Inn would be cheaper, you know, but of course in London it was much more expensive. So we only stayed there for one night. And then we were walking around Piccadilly Circus and we found this hotel, and it was for £79 a night. So we stayed there the last 3 nights. Throughout the whole trip, John reassured me that he would pay me for half of the cost.
I object to that, Your Honor. Apologize.
And he didn't?
No, he didn't. 4 months later, I'm like, John, will you please pay me back the
How
money?
much were all the hotels?
Total, it was like $900.
You have the receipts?
Yeah, I have credit card logs.
Okay, let me just take a quick look at them.
They're highlighted, and there's one on the second page.
Okay.
He told me that he had a money order that he had written out, and he said he gave it to his mom. And he said, okay, my mom's going to mail this to you tonight. 2 weeks later, I never got anything, and that's when I kind of knew that I wasn't going to get any money.
That's not true.
Didn't you think that I was going to get to you?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
So, now let me hear you.
Well, my account, her recount of the London tale is fairly accurate.
Try
with the
looking at
exception-
me.
With the exception that the agreement was not that I pay her back, that it would be a gift. If I
Well,
can,
tell me. That's
No.
what you... don't interrupt him.
Sorry.
if I could expound on the relationship, perhaps give more credibility to my case. When I first, Ms. Vanderscoff replied to a AOL personal I had, most of the conversation evolved around computers because that's her profession. She's a computer programmer. And most of this centered on the fact that she had quite a lofty responsibility for someone of her age. At 18, she was financially independent.
Get to it.
Get to the point. Okay. Within 2 dates, she took me out to the Ritz, another restaurant likewise, and then on their 3rd date, she let me drive her brand new BMW. Then she decided to contact me a 4th time to go to London. Now, I said, we can pay the airfare, I can do that, no problem, but I object to staying at such expensive hotels. I want to go to London, she wanted to do London.
Try looking at me.
I'm sorry.
And go slower.
I'm slightly nervous.
I'm not nervous, so go slower.
I've traveled the world. She informed me that she wanted me to go as a travel companion because I have reasonable traveling experience. I suggest we stay in youth hostels because cheaper, better to stay at, just more fun generally, especially if you're of young age. And they're extraordinarily cheap. Now, I said, this is within my budget. I'm a college student. At the time, I was unemployed, living off my parents.
Listen, don't editorialize. You suggested you stay at youth hostels. Okay, because that's what you could afford.
Exactly.
Is that what you said to her?
Yes.
They're much cheaper.
Yes.
And what did she say to you?
Categorically rejected. She was.
No, I want you to tell me what she said to you.
She heard that a rumor that London youth hostels were revolting, disgusting, and just horrible.
And then what did you say?
So I said, well, from my experience, I've traveled, I've studied youth hostels quite extensively, and it's normally about a college dorm. So
look at me.
We made this. So she decided that, well, if this is too much for you to afford, then don't worry about the hotels. We'll go.
You go to London and you get to the first hotel. How much was that hotel?
First hotel was in the range of £126. The
126 pounds, which translates into what in U.S. dollars?
It's about 50% more. So it's about close to $200. Now
I didn't ask you a question.
Sorry.
Tell me about the check-in process when you discovered that the hotel was too expensive.
Well, all the bookings, reservations were made on the assumption that the pound equated a dollar. Miss Vanderscoff did not realize that there was an exchange difference.
So she discussed that with you?
She discussed making reservations, yes.
Oh, well, she evidently discussed making more than just reservations because you say she assumed that it was the same exchange rate, dollar for dollar. So you must have had that conversation before you left.
We definitely discussed
Okay.
What?
So I'm speaking.
Sorry.
So you discussed the price of the hotels that were being booked, or at least the first night. You discussed the price. Yes or no?
We did discuss the price, yes.
Now, if you thought that this was all a gift from her, why would you discuss the cost of it?
The intention was that we would pay 50-50 initially. But when I made it clear that I could not afford her living standard, she made the gift offer.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You want to know why I don't believe you? It's clear that the first hotel that you went to was too expensive.
Yes.
At that point, if you believed that she was going to pay for all the hotels, why wouldn't you just say, I like this hotel?
It's expensive. I mean, it was an expensive trip. I didn't want to drive her broke. I felt guilty. I mean, we were just friends, and she's paying for it.
No, you had discussed with her paying 50-50 when you were going. And you suggested going to stay at youth hostels, and she said, I don't want to stay at youth hostels.
At that point, that's when I refused to go. That's when I said I would not be able to go to London if we could not stay in youth hostels.
When did you say this to her?
This took place all over AOL, Instant Messenger. This was all one conversation. And then she made the advance that she'd pay for it as a gift.
Show me.
There's no documentation on either side substantiating either claim.
Just a second. Don't tell me what's on her side. You can't fast dance around me. You just said to me initially there was an agreement that I would pay half of the hotels.
We had discussed the prospect of an agreement. We did not come to a conclusion.
I think you did. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $475. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah, this is case number 108 on the calendar in the matter of Hoyt versus Hanson Shirey. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
The four of you know each other from high school, I assume, according to what I've read in your complaint, have known each other and disliked each other since high school.
Me and Sonny have known each other.
The two girls?
Yes.
According to your complaint, you were all out at the bar, out in the parking lot. Each of you claimed that the other assaulted you, right?
Correct.
Okay. What day did this happen?
About 1 o'clock in the morning on the 21st of April.
And was the defendant there already when you arrived?
Yes.
Did you have any words with the defendant that day?
She said hi to me at the bar and asked me how I was, and I said I'm fine. And he got a drink, and we went back and played pool.
What happened next?
Well, we were only there for a little while playing pool. Then we walked outside, me and Chris and my friend Melanie, and I was unlocking the car door, and this girl over here walked up to me and asked me, do you have a problem with my girlfriend Sonny? Because we'd had an argument a couple months before. I said, no, I don't have a problem. And Sonny came up from around behind me and slugged me in the back of the head.
That's not true.
Shh. I didn't ask you anything yet. Go ahead.
Then her friend came over, and another gal, I don't know who she was, and they were hitting me and punching me, so I started to fight back, and I had the keys in my hand. And they're pulling my hair and pushing me, and I started...
Who's they?
Sunny and her 2 girlfriends. And
That's still a lie.
Now sit down. Sit in a chair. Now maybe you understand. Go ahead.
And as I was hitting her, Jason came over from behind. I felt 3 hard blows in the back of my head, and I turned around and he socked me in the eye. And then they took off. I have pictures of my injuries too.
I will look at the pictures. Did you call the police?
Yes, I did.
You have the police report?
Yes. Here's the pictures of my eye, and then some of her friends were grabbing him and trying to pull him away from
When
helping me.
she first got attacked, I grabbed her, I turned her this way, and I pulled her down and covered her head. And a couple of girls were trying to pull me off of her. And I don't know if I'm not sure if it was Jason, but he had like three of his male friends there, and they're trying to pull us off, and I got hit in the head probably 8 times, and I got some scratches on my neck.
Here's the police report too.
Who do you claim hit you in the face, giving you the black eye?
Jason.
I never
Jason.
touched her.
Yes.
What part of don't speak don't you understand?
Sorry.
My friend Melanie saw him hit me in the head too, several times.
Other than the scratch on the back of your head, did you have any injuries, Mr. Hoyt?
No, I had a lot of knots on the back of my head.
Step up. I have a few questions. You were with them that evening?
Yes, I was.
So this young lady comes up and said, you have a problem with my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Describe exactly what you saw after that.
They were arguing back and forth. I don't remember what the words that they were saying, but I just remember it started getting heated, and I saw people punching her in the back of the head. I went to go and try to stop the fight or something, and they had somebody stand in front of me saying, just let him fight, and she was like standing in front of me like this.
Nobody that's here today?
No.
All right, Sonny, tell me your version of the events.
Well, it actually all started in high school. I was your classic nerd, I guess. I was involved
Okay, so
in
you were the
debate.
nerd, they were the popular one. I got that. So
Yeah.
you didn't like her, she didn't like you.
And
Whatever.
I hadn't seen her since high school until the night of March 31st, that I can recall anyway. We were up at the same bar. I was playing pool against her husband, and I was about to shoot in the 8-ball and win the game, and she was sitting behind me and hauled off and kicked me in the leg. And I actually have an affidavit if you'd like to see it from my friend that was
so that was a month before.
Yes.
You also say in your answer that she made some sort of a derogatory remark about your engagement ring.
Yeah, after she kicked me, I turned around and asked her, you know, what was going on, and she said nothing. So I turned around, walked away, went and sat down. I was getting up to get another drink, and I walked by, and Chris, her husband, held up his ring and started saying, oh, look at the size of the diamond in this ring, and started making fun of my engagement ring, saying that a joke. Saying that the diamond in my ring was really
Never
small.
lie. Never lie, especially if it's not really important but just sets a tone. Was your fiance there at the time?
Yes, it was.
Shh, just a second. Your fiance was there at the time when you say that her husband was making not nice remarks about the size of your engagement ring.
Yes.
I assume he was really angry.
Oh, Jason?
Yes, Jason.
He
I would get really angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was angry.
Let's all tell the truth here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I got very angry.
Okay, so that's a month before. Now we turn to April 21st at 1 o'clock in the morning.
We were having drinks. I saw Colette walk in. We happened to be up at the bar at the same time getting a drink. I did say hi, asked her how she was, sat back down. I thought maybe, you know, our problems were over with and we could just have a nice evening at the bar, but evidently not. So closing time came. We went to leave the bar, but Shay actually walked out of the bar first. So if she could tell her story.
Why don't you come up and tell me your side of the story? Your last name is?
Burton.
Now, Miss Burton, you walked out first.
Yes.
And you walked up to where the plaintiff was getting into her car.
Yes.
What did you say to her?
I asked her why she was harassing my friend.
Now, that night, I haven't heard anything about harassment. She said hello. She said hello. Case closed.
My girlfriend Sarah and I were walking out of the bathroom, and she stepped in front of me, and then I looked at her like, you know, why? And then she stepped back and she made some remark under her breath, Well, then I watched her, and she was watching us and pointing at us, going around the bar. I was just like, why does she have a problem? So I went up to ask her, you know, why we were so important.
Why didn't you go up to ask her in the bar where there were other people? Why?
We were leaving when I decided to ask her.
Why?
It was time to go.
And then what happened?
Before I could ask her or get a response, she swung at me twice, and I defended myself.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Colette Hoyt says former high school classmate Sonny Hansen assaulted her outside a bar. Sonny says Colette, a high school bully, started this fight too.
So what did you do?
Sonny went to break it up, so I didn't get hit.
Sonny went to break what up?
She
It wasn't
went,
a fight.
She made sure I wasn't getting hurt again.
How did she do that?
She just stepped in between and tried to stop Colette.
And then Colette swung at me.
With a handful of keys.
Yeah, and hit me in the face. And I have this scarring right here. I have pictures of the injuries as well, if you'd like to see those.
I would.
And then I saw her husband throw Sonny up against the car.
You saw her husband what?
He threw Sonny up against the car.
Why would you think he would throw Sonny up against the car?
I have no idea.
If
Sonny and her
was
were starting to fight.
I'm not talking to you. You lost your talking privileges until I call you. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah, she attacked me. She had keys in her hands. I went to defend myself. I was trying to curl down so she'd quit hitting me in the face. Because we were actually scheduled on Sunday to go down and get photo invitations for our wedding. And now even I think my wedding pictures here in 5 weeks are going to reflect the scarring on my face from a fight that I didn't even want to be a part of.
What were you a part of it for?
I stepped in.
What were you a part of it for? I believe her when she said that somebody hit her. I believe her. I believe that there was absolutely no basis for you to go outside and have any conversation with her at all. And everybody just then came all around. There were a lot of people that were hitting. There were a lot of people that were hitting. Now I'm going to hear from Big Mouth. Only because I have to, because you're a party to this proceeding. Go ahead. You came out with whom?
I came out with Sonny.
Just a second. You came out with Sonny. Alone, just the two of you.
Just the two of us.
There were several other guys there, too.
There weren't any other guys.
There wasn't any.
There was 3 other guys. One guy was so nuts, he took off his friggin' coat and was going, yeah, yeah, shaking his hand. And
do I know him? I don't even know who they are.
Then why was he shaking your hand?
Just a second.
I have no idea. He never shook my hand. My hand was broken.
She heard his friend yell, I got your back, when he was hitting me.
I never hit her.
Did you speak to the police?
Did I speak to the police? No. And I never hit her. I don't hit women. The only reason I even got involved is because Chris slammed Sonny into the car, and I thought he was going to start hitting on her, so I hit him off of her. Then we got in the car and we left.
How did you hit him off of her?
How did I hit him off of her? With my right hand, and in the process breaking it.
Broke it on my head.
So you broke your own hand?
I broke my own hand on the side of his head, yes, to hit him off of her.
You broke your own hand hitting him?
Mm-hmm. He was on top of her.
I thought I was a girl. Oh, shoot. Sorry.
Now, it looks to me as if there were a lot of people that were punching at Miss Hoyt.
The only people who were fighting with Miss Hoyt is her.
And me.
Yeah, there was no one else that
You
was
see right
involved.
away. Now, there were 2 people fighting with Miss Hoyt.
No, when we walked out of the bar,
It wasn't at
Colette
the
was
same
swinging
time.
at her.
No.
Sonny tried to break up the fight, and Colette hit her.
And Shay was standing back, and it was
Then
just
they started
me
to
and Colette.
proceed to fight, and then
Well,
Chris
why
slammed
didn't
Sonny
you
the
get in
car.
there? Why didn't you get in there instead of letting your fiancé get in there if there was a fight going on?
Because she was right in front of me. I couldn't stop her. We both walked out.
sure you
It's a
can.
single door. You know, you can't walk out of a door side by side.
How angry were you at her husband?
When he hit her,
Before?
not really angry, except for the time when him and his buddies tried to fight me and my friend. That night that Colette kicked her, we were in there playing pool, and him and about 10 of his friends tried to pick a fight with us.
He's been
We had to be
kicked out of that
escorted.
bar.
We had to be escorted out of the bar, made sure we were in our car safe, and then we left.
He's been kicked out of that bar because he beat up an
Now,
old
my
man
next
before.
question
I've
to
never
you
been
is,
kicked out of that
We've
bar
never
before in my
been.
life.
if you were assaulted and you know who assaulted you, why is it that you never prosecuted this case?
I did try to, but the police say that there's, they don't prosecute misdemeanors or they don't investigate misdemeanors in Spokane because they're too overloaded with felonies. And so the police officer asked us to take it to small claims. He didn't even want us to file the report because they don't have enough staff. And so It's what the police
Sounds to me
officer
like
told
you
us,
didn't have
that
a
there
case.
wouldn't be enough.
Your case is dismissed. Now you can leave. You had 10 warnings. Goodbye.
Okay, let him be quiet.
Broke his own hand, let him take care of it. It's a hothead. Okay. Is there anything else that anybody wants to tell me?
I just think if their injuries were so severe, we have an affidavit here that shows that Chris was down playing in a pool tournament at 9 o'clock the next morning.
I'm not talking about his injuries. I don't think he had any. I mean, he had a couple. He had a scratch on the back of the head. This guy tried to hit him in the head with this hand. He broke his arm. It's good enough.
Fine.
Right? Good
I'm
enough.
fine.
Perfect. You can sit down. The question is, who started this fight?
Colette did.
No, you did.
Verbally.
No, you did. You went up to her in the parking lot for absolutely no reason. And I believe that you came in and you hit her. And then all hell broke loose. And then all hell broke loose. And I believe that your old boyfriend over there was still remembering from last month when he made fun of the engagement ring. Because that would be something that one would remember. And so would you. So I'm dismissing your counterclaim. And I'm awarding you, as requested, $2,500 because I've looked at your injuries, and your injuries are, in fact, substantial. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Smarter than her and skinnier than her, and evidently that just carries on after high school. I just wish it would die and she would just let things be.
They got what they deserved. They started everything, and if he's going to hit a girl, then he should have to pay for it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ray versus Gallagher. Step forward, please.
46-year-old band manager William Ray is suing a former band member, 23-year-old waiter Michael John Gallagher, for unpaid bail money and attorney fees after Michael was arrested for driving under the influence.
Mr. Ray, you were managing a band. The defendant was one of the band members.
Correct.
According to your complaint, the defendant was arrested for driving while under the influence of alcohol.
Correct.
You bailed him out, provided whatever money was necessary to have him back in the band, right?
Correct.
The band was subsequently disbanded. You want your money.
Correct.
The defendant says that, yes, you laid out money, but that you told him that he was to start paying you back when the band started to make money. The band never made any money, so he doesn't owe you any money. That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. How were you arrested? Tell me about this arrest that you had in May of 2000.
I was driving down the road and I got into an accident. I had been drinking. I've paid my dues.
So you were hauled off to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Who did you call?
I'm not sure. I called my friend Steve and I called Mr. Ray here.
And Steve didn't have any money.
No.
So then you called
Mr. Ray.
Plaintiff. And what did you say when you called him?
I just told him that I was in jail. I really just wanted somebody to talk to. I didn't expect him to get me out or anything. I just wanted somebody to talk to, so I called him.
You wanted somebody just to chat with.
Yes. Well, I was in jail. I was 21 years old and scared out of my mind.
Fine. So you didn't want somebody to come and get you out. You just wanted somebody to talk to.
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
Well, as the conversation went on, I did ask him to get me out.
Of course you did. Of course, Mr. Gallagher. And how much was the bail?
I don't know.
How much was the bail, Mr. Ray?
$7,500 bail, $750
Okay.
out of pocket.
Okay. Tell me about hiring the attorney. Who called the attorney?
I have a very close friend I've known for about 21 years.
So the answer is you did.
I did, yes.
Did the attorney tell you what the fee was?
Usually it was $3,000, I believe, and since he was friends with Mr. Ray, he would take care of it for $1,600.
And what did you say?
I said, okay.
Did you pay him any money?
Mr. Ray gave me a check to pay him, yes.
And what did he say when he gave you the check? Look at me. What did he say when he gave you the check?
Don't worry about this. Worry about your singing. We'll take care of this later.
Good. Now, what other expenses did you have, Mr. Ray?
The other money is I gave him my car. I had several cars, and his car was totaled. He got my car, the car that I loaned him, impounded one night, so I had to pay that fees.
How did he get your car impounded?
He called me up and he said that I was driving across the tracks and a hubcap fell off, and as I stopped to check it, the police stopped me, and then we find out he doesn't have a driver's license, or his license has expired. So
Is that right?
Yes, that is right. When I went to the DMV, I have a New Mexico driver's license. When I went to the
Give me
DMV,
a story.
Okay.
How much was it to get the car out of impound?
Car getting out of the impound was $93.
What else?
He had the car approximately 6 to 7 months. Clutch was totally shot. It had a brand
Forget
new
it.
clutch.
That's
when it
your
was in
problem. If you're stupid enough to lend somebody your car for 7 months, somebody who's already had trouble with the car, he's got a DUI, he's a baby, you're not. You take on that responsibility. $2,443 is what you owe him. Why shouldn't you pay him?
I don't feel that I should pay him because he told us he was going to take care of all this stuff for us and start paying us to rehearse. We were there 3 nights a week, sometimes 7 nights a week rehearsing. Most of the time that we were there, he was stoned out of his mind and wasn't even paying attention to the rehearsal.
So why didn't you leave?
I thought...
Just a second. So why didn't you leave?
I didn't leave because I thought this was my opportunity.
Well, then you made a mistake.
Most definitely.
You
Most
made a
definitely.
mistake, but you had the opportunity to leave. And if this lawsuit was about your expenses, your living expenses, et cetera, while you were working, I would feel differently about it. These items had to do with your stupidity. A, driving while drunk, having an accident, and then parking across railroad tracks. That has nothing to do with band. That has something to do with stupidity. 2443, judgment for the plaintiff.
Parties are excused. You may step out. This is case number 114 on the calendar in the matter of Barbaras, McGrew versus Pasco. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Ms. Barbaras, according to the complaint that I've read, you and your family have known the defendant from the time he was a little boy. And he grew up, he was in need of a job, and you gave him a job as a security person in your business. So far correct?
Yes, ma'am.
While he was acting in his capacity as a security guard, it is your claim that he stole a very valuable collection of Pokemon cards that you had kept in a safe or some sort of safe place in your place of business, and it is your belief that the defendant stole them. So far correct?
So far, so good.
The defendant says he did not do it. So tell me when he came to work for you.
Last summer, Robert came to me and said that his mother had thrown him out and he needed a place to live and a job. And I've done that before with Robert. I've given him jobs before. So I gave him my key to my building and I said, okay, you can sleep.
What kind of building is it?
Pest control. I own a pest control company.
That's incorrect.
Okay. Shh.
Sorry.
Look at that. Go ahead.
I said, you can stay here at night and you can work during the daytime. We'll give you odd jobs with the handymen or going with the men, etc.
Okay.
And he did that, erratic at best. I called his mother and let her know that he was there. And he became irresponsible. We took the key back.
When did you take it back?
2 to 3 weeks after he first came.
Go ahead.
Several of Robert's friends, I don't remember now if it was 4 or 5 of them, came in one day and they said that we're returning your property. Robert stole your cell phone, a gold watch, and Pokemon collections. He sold the cell phone to us, and he's selling the Pokemon cards in Creekside, which is an apartment building in the back neighborhood.
All right. Now, you can't tell me what these people said to you, but you can tell me what they did. They came into your place of business with property.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when had that property been stolen?
Probably the day before or 2 days before. The same day we took the key back.
Where was the Pokemon collection kept?
In glass cabinets and in the office.
When did you notice it missing? Immediately?
No, I didn't notice them missing until they came in and told us that he was returning the cell phone and that he had Pokemon collections, the books.
Okay. Did you go over to Creekside?
Mr. McGrew did.
What happened when you got there, Mr. McGrew?
Tried to confront Robert. He ran.
Where did you confront him?
In Creekside Apartments.
Was he in an apartment or was he outside?
No, he was outside.
Did he have anything with him?
No.
Nothing?
Nothing.
What did you say to him when you approached him?
I asked him for my Pokemon cards.
They were your cards?
Her and I had purchased them together for the 2 kids here and 2 godchildren.
So you went over to Creekside to try to confront Robert. Saw you, you say he ran.
Yes.
But he had nothing with him.
No.
Did you ever get back any of the property?
Some of the Pokemon cards got back through school, through his little brother. He was passing them out.
Whose little brother?
Robert's. He was passing them out. Robert had given him the cards.
You don't know that? You didn't see that. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Did you see that?
I have them.
You have the cards that were given back to you that were in the possession of his younger brother.
Yes.
How old is your younger brother?
8 years old.
Your younger brother didn't have a key to the premises, did he?
No, Your Honor.
Your Honor, they were cards. I'm not speaking to you.
My mom can verify that, Your Honor. They had given my little brother some cards. My mom can verify that.
Did you ever confront Robert about taking the cards?
Yes, I did.
When?
When I've caught him at Creekside Apartments. He admitted...
That same day?
Yes. And he
That
admitted
same-
to me at that time that he took them and that there was
What
no
did
way
he-
I could prove it.
What did he say?
He said, I took your Pokemon cards and there's no way you can ever prove it.
What did you say to him?
I can't say that here.
Yes, you can.
I told him he's a lion.
You said that he ran from you.
He ran from me.
Tell me about how you approached him.
I pulled up to the street. I told him to get in my truck. He got in my truck. I started to drive. He got out and ran away.
Just a minute. So he didn't run away initially.
Oh, no, because I grabbed him by his arm.
We're not following each other. I'm going to get this story my way. You drove up in your truck to Creekside.
Yes.
Did you get out of your truck?
Yes.
What did you do when you got out of your
He
truck?
walked up and acted like nothing was wrong.
So he
Still
didn't.
a friend.
Shh. So he didn't run away initially.
Not until I put him in the truck.
What did you say to him when you got out of your truck?
I confronted him about the Pokemon
What did you
collection.
say to
I
him?
asked him, where's my Pokemon collection?
And what did he say?
He said he didn't have it.
And what did you say to him?
I told him to get in the truck. We're going to go
And-
back to the shop.
And what did he say to you?
He got in the truck. Then I started to take off, and he jumped out and ran.
And that was what happened on that day. Is that right?
No, I went back to the shop. A friend of mine came back with me to Creekside, found Robert, trapped him upstairs on some steps. He was hiding up behind this big guy, a friend of mine. And we had the police called.
Yes.
Police came, did nothing, took him in on some warrant that he
Just,
had.
just a second. When you had him trapped in the stairwell, was there any conversation that you had?
Yeah, he told me that he did it and there was no way I could ever prove it.
Is that when the conversation took place with regard to the Pokemon cards?
Yes,
Did you tell that to the police?
Yes.
When the police came?
yes.
Did they write it down?
They took a report.
Do you have the report?
No, I do not.
Why not?
Because it was never filed. They don't file reports in Simi Valley.
Of course they do. You don't have the police report?
There was never a police report made, Your Honor.
There was a police report,
There was a
Your
police
Honor.
report made, the officer's name.
Why didn't you get a copy of the police report?
They never filed their police report. They have a number 0018796 of
That's
some
a
report.
That's a report. Listen!
Yes.
Police respond, they have to file a report whenever they respond to a location. Do you understand that?
Not in Simi Valley.
Simi Valley is still part of this world.
Not
It's
really.
still part of the United
really.
States.
Not really.
There's no crime.
We don't have crime in Simi.
Everything's civil.
Your Honor, if I may say,
Sure.
he did
I'm not
actually...
ready for you yet.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for you yet. I'm
I
not so
am.
sure you didn't do this.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
You understand clearly what I'm saying to you.
I understand.
I have very, very good intuition. Very good intuition.
I understand.
Good.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Portia Barberis and Dennis McGrew say former friend 19-year-old Robert Pascoe stole their collection of valuable Pokemon cards. Robert says they've got the wrong guy.
Now, how many times have you been arrested?
Few.
How many?
3 or 4.
For what?
Drugs.
Drugs.
Under the influence.
Using or selling?
Using.
Ever been arrested for possession?
No.
Of course, you had to have them in your possession in order to use them,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs were in your possession when you were arrested?
I was under the influence of a controlled substance.
What?
Methamphetamine.
Where did you get them?
Friends. Wherever I...
That costs money.
I never...
Listen to me. That costs money.
Sure.
How old were you when you were arrested for the first time?
16.
How old were you when you started to work for them?
17. Between 17 and 18.
How old were you when the Pokemon cards were stolen?
18.
Immediately prior to the Pokemon cards being stolen, when was your last arrest?
When I was 18.
Was it before or after the confrontation with the plaintiffs?
Before.
Before.
Yes.
How much before?
Maybe about 4 or 5 months before.
And what happened with that case?
I was put on probation. Went to jail for 3 days.
And prior to that, were you also placed on probation?
To another charge? No.
One of the 3 or 4 other cases of arrest.
I was placed on probation once, and that was for the drug. That was it.
What happened to the other arrests?
They were just put all together into one.
Oh,
I
you
got
got
charged
a
with diversion.
forfeit.
I got put on diversion.
You
Your
got a
Honor.
forfeit.
I got put on diversion. I violated it. They reinstated it when I messed up and got the other ticket.
Since July of 2000, have you been arrested?
Yes, I have.
Huh?
Yes, I have.
For what?
Failure to appear.
Failure to appear for what?
Court date.
Don't play
It was
with me.
diversion. I violated my diversion again. I did not finish
How
my
did you
classes.
violate your diversion?
Did not finish my classes.
What about drug screenings?
Never had one dirty test, Your Honor.
So why were you violated?
For not going to my diversion classes. They're drug
Why
meetings.
didn't you go to your diversion classes?
No real excuse. I just didn't have the money at the time to get out there. It was in a different valley.
Well, what are you doing now?
Right now, I'm working.
For whom?
My mom's friend is a construction worker doing concrete.
How long have you been working for them?
Just for about a week and a half.
And before that, what were you doing?
I've had many jobs. I mean,
You can't hold
I
on
worked
to
at
a
a
job
fast
if
food
you're
place.
doing meth. You know that.
That was before that, Your Honor. I've been clean for quite a few months now.
How many is quite a few months?
4.5 months.
Were these people nice to you?
In the beginning, yes, Your Honor. They were. They opened their arms and they did let me stay in there and they did offer me a job.
And that was at a time when things weren't going so well at home. You were using drugs off and on. You were arrested a lot.
Correct.
Did you need money back in the summer of last year?
No. I just needed food in my stomach and a place to sleep.
Well, you were using some drugs last summer.
Not at the time when I was homeless. When I got kicked out, I just stopped using drugs. I couldn't afford it, Your Honor. I was
You
worried
could
about...
afford it if you sold Pokemon cards.
Never stole those Pokemon cards, Your Honor.
You liar.
For one, Your Honor, I was
Don't speak.
never given a key to stay there. They would never give me that key, Your Honor.
Robert.
They never gave me a key there.
Just a
Robert.
second.
No, you guys never gave me a
Shame
key.
on you.
Just
You
a
had
second.
my key.
Just a second. Did you
Shame on
physically?
you.
Did you physically give him the key?
Yes, I did.
Tell me when.
When he first came there, he said he didn't have any place to stay. I called his mother. She said, okay, I know where he's at. And I gave him my key.
She never gave me your key, Your Honor.
Yes, she did.
No, she did not, Your Honor.
Of course she did.
She didn't trust me enough to give me her key. Okay, one of my friends had stolen that cell phone. When my friend came in there and stole that cell phone,
Your Honor,
he
nobody
had got-
trusts him enough.
Listen, now leave. Leave. Leave.
So the cell phone had been stolen by one of my friends, and I took responsibility for that and told him to go turn it back in because it was my job that was getting...
Just a second. Now we're getting somewhere, Robert. How did you know one of your friends stole the cell phone?
He had told me.
The cell phone was in the office.
Correct.
How did your friend get into the office?
Doors open all the time. They're open 24/7. I was not with him, Your Honor. He had showed me the cell phone. He said, look, I took this from Dennis. I said, well, you got to return it because you're going to get me in trouble. They're going to think I stole it. You got to go return it.
What's his name?
Kevin,
Where does he live?
didn't see me.
And so you're telling me that this Kevin is the one who stole the cell phone,
Correct.
and because you told him to go return it, he went in and returned the cell phone.
Yeah, it was my roof over my head and the food in my stomach. I wasn't ready to risk it. He was a friend, but not obviously a good one, stealing from my work.
Did you come into some money recently?
Not recently, but it's
When?
supposed to come in, Your Honor.
How much money?
A couple million.
Couple of million.
Correct. For a wrongful death of my father.
When was the last time you lived with your father?
I never lived with my father.
I would assume that that's one of the reasons why you've pursued this.
I didn't know about
2 days after my mom had called her and told her about my father dying, she decided to file a lawsuit because she knew I was getting some money. I had seen Dennis in the pawn shop. He confronted me. He said, started saying all these words to me, bad words. I hope you die exactly how your father died. If not, I would do it myself, but I want my money. It's exactly what he said.
Your Honor, do the boys get to speak?
About what?
About getting the cards back from Austin and the time that I saw Patty in the parking lot and I reached into her front seat and picked up a $500 card that belonged to this collection.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
that's a
well,
lie.
I would like to know when that
That's a
happened.
lie.
Patty is his mother.
Yes.
Okay, let me hear.
She pulled up to the parking lot when I was picking the kids up from school, and I went over to her and I said, it's probably not a good idea, because I had gone to
When
the
was
principal
this?
about 3 weeks after this whole thing happened, and I says, it's not a good idea for Austin to be bringing these Pokemon cards to school and are giving them to friends. These are some valuable cards. And I opened the door and I was talking to her and I reached on the seat and I picked up a Blastoid, first edition Blastoid, Japanese. And I says, there's one of them right there. And she said, well, take it if it belongs to you. I said, it's about a $500 card. And I says, no, you keep it because when the police get around to getting there, you'll still have it and you'll present it to them. She says, well, I still have all the rest of them on the shelf at home. And then she called me and said that she found them in a dumpster. that they had found all of these Pokemons, all these valuable Pokemons. I mean, we're talking $5,000 right there in what we retrieved in the dumpster. So I immediately went to the dumpster. There was a lot of trash there, but there was not one card, not one piece of plastic, not one shred of all of these thousands of dollars worth of Pokemon that
I believe
collection.
You. Listen to me.
Okay.
I believe you.
Okay. Thank you.
How does that tie into him?
She has him in her car.
She says they found him in a dumpster.
Oh,
Do I believe
that was
her?
weeks later.
Do I believe
I know
her?
You don't believe her. I didn't believe it either.
No.
You haven't heard the truth yet. I don't have a car, first off. I have a truck. She couldn't even see into my truck to see on my seat. She's not tall enough.
Open the door.
Oh, you opened my door now. Okay.
Hey! We have the cards with his name on them.
With whose name on them?
His name. This is his collection. The cards that were stolen are in his possession now with the values on them and his name on them.
Yes.
He has those.
Where did
he
you
got
get
them from Robert's little brother?
I understand that. There has to be a nexus between Robert's little brother.
The little brother said big brother gave him to him.
Listen to me. That's hearsay. Now, if you were in a criminal court and the little brother were here or in the courthouse so that a judge could say to the little brother, where did you get those cards from? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
I understand, and I understand the little niche in the law there.
It's not a niche in the law.
It's going to help him be found not guilty so that six little kids have lost their Pokemon collection.
They've lost it anyway.
That's true.
They've lost it anyway.
But at least they have got justice if you decide that he did
I'm
this.
telling you, I told you that he did it.
I agree.
I believe he did it.
But it doesn't
In
mean
order
justice
for me,
is going to be served
you're
here.
you're absolutely right. Robert, I want to tell you something. There's a piece of me, sir, that says that you are either personally involved or know how it came about that this valuable card collection was stolen. This is a card collection that has probably been in the same location for a very long time. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
It just so happens, coincidentally, that some meth freak who they gave a break to was living in the back room at a time when the Pokemon cards disappeared. Now, I don't believe him that you confessed.
No.
I don't believe him that you confessed. I believe you did it. I would love to be able to make a legal finding that you did it, but I don't believe you confessed. I just want you to understand me. I believe you did it, but I don't believe you confessed to him. He's a hothead. He thought that that would make a very good part of the case because he was told by the police in Simi Valley, that's still part of this universe I'm speaking, that without a confession, you'd have no case. So I believe that he made that up. But I think you did it. I can't make a judgment, but I think you did it. Only you know whether you did it or not.
I know.
Oh, I know.
I know I didn't.
Oh, I know you did. I feel it. But that's not what courts are about. Now, the fact that the mother makes up some cock and bull story that they came from a dumpster, right?
Good one, huh?
It's a good one. It's a good one.
You haven't heard
That
from me. You haven't heard from me what the story is. You've heard from her.
All I want to know is, well, you want to tell me that your son told you that his older brother gave him the cards?
My son can tell you because my son was with me, calling me at school.
I don't
He'll
want to
tell
call
you.
him. I listen to
He'll
me.
tell you.
I don't
He was
wanna...
with me when we found him.
She had given him cards.
And I don't know that they were her cards. They were in baggies, a bunch of them. I don't know that they were hers. I called her immediately when I found them.
Stole the cards. Isn't a question in my mind. He knows it, I know it, and he knows that I know it, but she can't prove it. So, live with it.
Why didn't she
Case
come to
is
my house
dismissed.
and get them?
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yeah, this is case number 49 on the calendar in the matter of Perez versus Sanchez. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor, and may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Perez, it is your claim that the defendant's son broke a car window with a rock.
That is correct.
When did this happen?
This happened on December 17th, 2000.
Are you neighbors?
We live across the street from each other, yes.
And where was your car parked?
My car was parked right in front of my house by the parking lot of the Ramada where we live.
That is incorrect. I'm sorry. Sorry. It was parked in the common area.
Is it on the street or in a parking lot?
In a parking lot.
Okay. Do you have a photograph so I can see where your car was parked?
I live right across from the parking lot.
In one of these houses?
No, I'm facing this way.
On the other side, I can't see your house, is that right?
Right.
All right. And who lives in these houses?
They live on the left side where the beige with the brown trimming is at.
In the carport.
Is this your house? Can you see?
We're on the other side of the Ramada.
You're on this
Correct,
side?
right there.
You're here. Okay. You weren't there when this happened?
We were home.
But
were
you
inside
did
the
not
house.
see what happened?
Exactly, we did not see.
Okay. Who saw what happened?
The two witnesses here, Carlitos and Antonio,
Are they neighbors of yours?
they live around the neighborhood, yes.
Okay. Let's start with the older young man first. Come up here. Tell me your name.
Antonio Vasquez.
Antonio, you're a neighbor?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah. Yes,
Are you
ma'am.
nervous?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. But you're going to tell me the truth, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
What can I do to you if you don't tell me the truth? You don't know? Nothing good. You got me? Okay. Tell me what you saw with regard to this rock throwing incident.
Well, what I saw is that
Look at me.
Mario threw a big rock.
Who's Mario?
The one that's sitting down right there.
Uh-huh.
He threw a rock to the Ramada in front of my house, hit the roof. That's where it bounced and almost hit my friend Carlitos in the head, and he ducked and hit the car window.
Was anybody else throwing rocks?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I thought. Who else was throwing rocks? Look at me.
Two friends of mine and my friend here.
So you were all throwing rocks.
Yes, ma'am.
Who were you throwing rocks at?
I was throwing rocks to Mario.
So you were throwing rocks at Mario, and Mario was throwing rocks at you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this your brother?
No, he's my friend.
What's his name?
Carlitos.
Carlitos. Carlitos was also throwing rocks at Mario?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you have any other friends with you that were throwing rocks at Mario?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was your other friend?
My other friend was Gilbert and Alex.
Gilbert and Alex. And who are they?
They're two friends that live by the neighborhood.
How old are they?
One is 7 years old and the other one's 6.
So there were 4 of you throwing rocks at Mario.
Yes, ma'am.
What was Mario doing when you were throwing rocks at him?
Mario was cleaning his front yard.
So why did you decide to throw rocks at him?
Well, first,
Now I want you to tell me the truth. So far you're doing really well. Okay? So far you're doing really well. This is not a terrible thing. Not a smart idea to throw rocks because somebody could have gotten hurt, right? But we're not talking about capital murder here. We're talking about kids playing. So I want you to be sure to tell me the truth. You and 3 of your little friends started to throw rocks at Mario,
Yes, ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
So you started it.
No,
Who started to throw rocks at Mario?
Gilbert.
Gilbert. Any particular reason Gilbert started to throw rocks at Mario?
Well, he just flicked it at Mario.
He flicked it. Well, there's not much of a difference between flicking and throwing. So first he flicked it. Did Mario say something like cut it out, stop it?
No, ma'am.
Didn't say anything. Who threw another rock at Mario?
Well, first Gilbert flicked it at Mario, so Mario threw a whole bunch back at Gilbert, so his other friend Alex decided to help him.
Who's Alex?
His other friend of Gilbert.
But Mario was all alone, right?
Yeah.
And it was the 4 of you throwing rocks at him. How many times did you throw a rock at him?
I only threw once.
Only once.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you throw a rock at Mario?
I threw it because he threw a whole bunch at Alex because he was running towards us, and one just got out of the group and hit me on the arm and bruised me right here.
Well, you started it, you and your friends. All he was doing was taking care of his front lawn.
Yeah, but we weren't with Gilbert and Alex. They were just around the street. We were just playing on the Ramada.
But you came over and you started to help them.
No, I threw it one at him because he hit me. So I'm trying to defend myself.
Sit down. They're little kids. Mario,
Yes.
how old are you?
I'm 15.
So they're stupid little kids, right?
Yes.
So what'd you throw the rocks back for?
We're unaggressively playing.
You were playing.
Yes.
Mr. and Mrs. Perez, Did you get all this information from these boys when you talked to them?
No, it wasn't that way. You know, they came to our house. They told us we were playing at the Ramada. Gilbert and Alex were playing by their street. He was cleaning the yard. Gilbert had thrown a rock towards him. He threw a rock towards the other two little kids. Then Mario continued throwing rocks.
No, they were all throwing rocks at each other.
And then,
Mr. and Mrs. Perez, they were all throwing rocks at each other.
Exactly, they were all throwing rocks, and then Mario had threw they're decorative rocks, the real small rock, threw a whole bunch of them, hit Antonio on the arm, and then they threw back.
What makes you think if they started it, these 4 little boys, he's out there minding his own business, doing his work in this front lawn, 4 little kids come over and they start to throw rocks. First one, then another, then he takes small pebbles, big little ones, and tosses them back at them, and they started doing it. Why would you think that he's only responsible for this instead of all these boys?
According to the witness, they was playing by themselves, these 2 kids, and the other kid was playing by themselves.
No. It's not how it happened. No. It's not how it happened.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Renee and Leticia Perez say 15-year-old Mario Obregon broke their car window with a rock.
Listen to me. They started it. And what I'm asking you is, why do you think that only one boy is responsible, even though he's older and should have known better?
He threw the rock that hit the remote of the roof, striking my window to my car.
Okay,
with
fine.
this rock.
Now I understand. Because he threw the rock that you believe ultimately
and we
hit
went
the
and
car.
talked to him. We went to his house. We talked to him. We asked him, did you break the window of my car? He says, I might have.
He might have.
Okay, and then I'll pay for it, but just don't tell
Mrs. Perez, you ain't getting it. I believe that 5 kids are responsible for breaking your window, not just one. They shouldn't have been throwing rocks at each other, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you might have, one of the rocks that you threw might have broken their window, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But he's not solely responsible. Let me see the estimate on the damage to your car. What kind of car was it?
It's a 1991 Geostorm.
Your Honor, I also got something that states a price on that same window.
Let me take a look. Windshield repair. Okay.
And it had tags and registration at the time. Tags are expired. They expired on February of this month.
Listen to me, sir. This is not an estimate.
I understand that.
This is a card.
Correct. And the reason I gave that is because the young lady I spoke to on the 21st said that we can call her and
I'm not
verify.
calling her. All she has to do is give you an estimate, like
Okay.
this.
Thank you. Okay.
It's like this, an estimate. And it costs about $1,000 to fix it, right?
The windshield, yes.
There were 5 boys involved, correct?
That's correct.
That means he's responsible for $200. You got to get the rest from the other boys. You understand? 5 children involved in throwing rocks, not just one. He didn't even start it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $200. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He is much older. He had no business throwing rocks back at them.
Mario threw a lot of rocks and hit him in the arm and bruised him.
I agree that I shouldn't have been throwing rocks,
He was throwing rocks towards my car.
but I did not break the window.
I've learned when everybody starts throwing rocks, I just walk away.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Garrison versus DeTrolio. Step forward, please.
25-year-old fraud specialist Katrina Garrison is suing her former friend, 29-year-old import coordinator Stacy DiTrolio, for her portion of a security deposit. Stacy says she's already paid.
This case deals with a loan that the defendant needed for an apartment rent deposit. Is that right?
Correct.
And you 2 ladies were friends?
Yes.
You were moving?
Yes. I moved in with a roommate.
You moved in with someone?
Yes.
Who already had the apartment?
No, we both moved in together. It was a
Okay.
house.
And what was the rent on this house?
It was $1,500 first, last, and deposit.
So tell me when you approached the plaintiff about $1,500 loan.
It was around August, and I believe that...
Beginning, middle?
Beginning.
Did you approach her by phone or in person?
In person.
Was it at her house?
Our house.
You were living together at the time?
No, my house. We'd already moved in, and we had already paid the first end deposit. We needed the last.
Had she come over to visit?
Yes.
Who was present?
Me, Amy, and Katrina.
Who's Amy?
Witness.
The witness. She wasn't your roommate?
No.
All right, so
We were
you
all
came
friends.
over with your witness, and the three of you had a discussion. You told her that you needed $1,500.
Yes.
Tell me in your own words what you said.
I actually approached Amy because Amy and I were very good friends, and she said that Katrina probably would help us out. I never really asked right up front. It was just kind of like, well, Katrina probably will, and I mean, I wasn't looking to borrow money from Katrina. But
you did.
But
So
I
you
did.
had to have said something to her.
Yes.
Come on.
That we needed help with the last month's rent.
And what did she say to you?
She said, okay.
When did, after that conversation, did she give you the money?
A few days, a couple days.
Did she give it to you in check or cash?
Check.
And you have the check?
I don't have the check. I didn't have time for them to get it from the bank.
You have your bank statement?
I don't have the bank statement either.
Why not?
She said she don't borrow the money. There's no question about that, whether she borrowed the money.
Just a minute. There's always a question to me. You're supposed to come to court with evidence. Evidence would be a check, canceled check that you gave her.
I have emails that state that she borrowed the money from me.
Okay. How much did you pay her back?
$700.
Check or cash?
Cash.
How much did you pay you back?
$200.
Check or cash?
Check.
You have a copy of the check?
No.
You have a copy of the check?
I don't have a copy of the check. I just deposited the check into the bank.
The first one was $200 in cash, and the rest was, or $200 with the check, and the rest was cash.
Why did you give her cash after
Because she didn't want a check, she wanted cash. And we were friends, so.
Why didn't she want a check? Had she had trouble with your check before?
Probably.
She gave me the check on October 23rd, and I was not able to cash the check until December 29th. And I went in on every single payday. She works with her at the same company, so I know what her paydays were and everything. So I
wish I would have had a copy of that check.
I
because
walked
that's not
into the
true.
bank every morning on the 1st and the 15th of the month to cash a check, and the funds were not available.
My paydays were the 7th and the 22nd, Your Honor.
What difference does it make?
Well, that's not the truth. So.
Well, Mr. Trolio, common sense would suggest that if you had given her a check once and she had absolutely no trouble cashing it, then she wouldn't have insisted on cash for the remainder of the money that you claim you gave her, right?
Well, you can assume that,
Right.
I suppose. Yes.
Right. Well, that sounds like a logical assumption. That's what I would do. Somebody gave me a check and I was able to go put it in the bank. I would say, fine, give me a check for the rest of the money. Now, you have a rather interesting defense. Your defense is that you really paid her back.
My share.
Your share.
Yes.
You say you paid her back $700 in total?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Shh, wait a second. You said you gave her $700 in total. 7 and 7 is 14. You borrowed 15.
The $100 was a fee.
A what?
Some kind of loan fee that my other roommate at the time was going to pay because I paid more of the rent part of it.
It doesn't make any difference.
Her other roommate.
Just a second. Your defense is that only half of this money is attributable to you, the other half is attributable to your roommate.
Exactly.
When did the plaintiff have a conversation with your roommate about the money? What does that mean?
Well,
what does that mean?
She knows because we had the discussion about Christy paying half.
To you?
Yes, to me.
Not to her.
Right.
No.
Not to her.
I told her, too, that Christy was responsible for half of that.
No. She was responsible for half of that to you. You
Begin
assumed
with.
that your roommate would pay half.
Yes.
Because that's your defense. Your defense is get it from my roommate.
She's got the wrong person. I paid my share, and she
Not to
knows
her.
that.
No, that's
Yeah.
what she knows. That goes into the operation of her mind. If she had a contract with two people, then you are absolutely right. The two people would be responsible for the return of this money. If, however, she had a contract with only one person, and she made that verbal agreement with one person, and that's you, then you are responsible for getting half of that money from your roommate, not her. You can't say, this loan was for both of us, I'm going to pay my share, you go and get the rest from my roommate. It's your job. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. You understand?
I understand perfectly.
Perfect. Now, what I don't understand, Ms. Garrison, is you acknowledge, if I believe what you say, that you only received $200 from the defendant.
Correct.
You talk about these emails about a paper that she signed. Where is it?
I moved, and I have been unable to find it. It was a promissory note that she signed by herself. Amy,
That's
my
not
witness,
true.
That is true. My witness was
Doesn't
there
make any difference.
when she signed it as well.
I'm just
It's a big
curious
difference.
as to why you didn't bring it if it's in here.
Because it didn't prove her case.
Well, you should have a copy.
I
You
didn't get
signed
a
the
copy
note?
because she's my friend, or was my friend.
Just a second. You sign a note, you keep a copy.
Well, I guess I'm not that smart.
Well, I'm not so sure. You borrow money, you don't pay it back. That makes you pretty smart. It says here that she gave you $600.
She wrote that. And
Oh, I understand that. But what I'm looking for is for your answer when you say, you never gave me $600, you only gave me $200.
It's because she can't.
It's in there. Shh. It is in there.
Show me. I
Okay.
want the response to her $600. Because first she says 7, then she says 6.
Your Honor, I also have an affidavit from my roommate that I live with now.
Not interested.
That proves...
Not interested.
Oh, okay.
In your affidavit from a roommate.
I have a witness here that was present at the house when Katrina came over and I gave her money.
I have never seen him in my life.
She was not inside the house either.
Just a minute.
She was outside the house, which she didn't come in.
Just a minute.
Can't see what you don't if you don't come in the house, right? Sorry.
Basically, I mean, most of it in here it just says...
Listen to me. All I'm interested in is your response, which is, where do you get $600? Could you just point out where you say to her, you didn't give me $600? Is it in there?
It's right.
Where's that?
Well,
Where's
it's
that
right
from?
here. This one's from Stacy, and then this is my response.
Okay.
Right. That one, and then that's the response.
Okay. Court finds that the defendant owes you $1,300, that she has in fact paid you $200 by check, and that's it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount $1,300. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step. Case number 97 on the calendar in the matter of Cook versus Jones. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
What clothes are those, Miss Cook?
This is wedding dress and 2 bridesmaids dresses that are like related to the case.
Not related to the case that I read. According to your complaint, you and the defendant, who had an on-again, off-again relationship, leased a house together. The relationship terminated. You feel as if he should be responsible for half the rent on the house.
Yes.
That's what your case is about.
Yes, I just brought these because...
Don't need them.
Okay.
Put them over there. They're distracting to me. Okay. Mr. Jones has a counterclaim, and he says that you have a whole bunch of furniture and property that belongs to him. You locked him out of the house, and he couldn't retrieve the rest of his belongings, even though he didn't live there full time. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have a copy of the lease agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Could I see it, please? When did you move in?
We moved in November 29th, 2000.
And the lease is a one-year lease?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you move out, sir?
Actually, I was put out in January. We got into an argument. I got put out in January. Then I came back because I thought it was going to work. And March of 2001, I came home to find my stuff outside and the door and the
That's
locks
not
was
true,
changed.
Your Honor.
Just a minute. So you're telling me she evicted you?
Yes.
That's not true.
Okay, go ahead.
That's
So I'll
not
hear-
true.
So now I'll hear you.
We moved into the home. We had gotten engaged previous to that in September. We moved in November. Mr. Jones left a week after that, stating that he wasn't sure that this is what he wanted to do. He needed to get himself together. So he left and went to stay at his parents' home. We talked off and on. He stated he wanted the relationship. He wanted us to get married. He came back in January.
Okay.
He left in March.
Well, that's what he says, but under what
yeah.
circumstances did he leave?
He didn't feel right. He didn't feel right. He felt that the relationship wasn't going well, that his world was crashing down around him. He needed to get himself right. And if he wasn't right, he couldn't be right for me. So that's when he left in March. He was gone approximately a week. He told me he was moving back in, and I just happened to see him in a pawn shop when I went to pay some bills with his truck full of some of his belongings. I went in there and asked him, what was he doing? I thought you were coming home. He said, oh, I changed my mind. I need to be gone a little longer. When I got to the house, I noticed he had moved a lot of his things out, and I changed the locks to make sure that he didn't take anything that didn't belong to him, and I told him if he wanted to take anything else, he could do it while I was there, but when my children were not there.
Does that sound right to you?
No, ma'am. When she seen me at the pawn shop, I was there with my friend James. He was purchasing some jewelry for his wife. She seen me? Yes, she did see me.
Did she see you with any of the property that you had in the house?
No, the property's still in her house.
No, some of the property.
No.
Any of the property?
Sir,
No.
I mean, ma'am, that's not right. His
No.
truck was parked
But you
across
hadn't
the
been
street.
home.
No, I haven't been home.
You hadn't been home for how long?
I had went to work.
Did you sleep there the night before?
Yes, I did.
You did?
No, he didn't.
Yes, I did.
He was gone a week, ma'am.
I believe he was gone a week.
He was gone a week, and he stated that he was going to come home.
That sounds right to me.
Called him on a Friday.
Your Honor, that's not true.
Didn't catch him the whole weekend.
Why do you
Happened
think
to
she
catch
threw
him
you
on
out,
Monday.
sir?
Excuse me?
Why do you think she threw you out?
Well, we
If I
having
believe
problems.
you.
We having problems, like we said, and I came home. The doors were locked. She told me when I called her on my cell phone. She stated because after when I came home, all the stuff was out. A lot of my stuff was sitting outside. My friend James Rivers,
none of
I
your
was out.
stuff was ever. I'm sorry.
Was out. Okay, and when I got my stuff, I went to get my stuff. The doors was. When I went to try to get in the house, the doors was locked.
Is what you're telling me, sir, that from the time you moved in, other than this one brief time when you left back in maybe January, that you lived with her continuously?
I left because we was having problems.
So you left?
Yes.
Well, that's what I want to know. When did you leave?
When did I leave? I left in January for approximately, I think it was 2 weeks, ma'am.
Were you there constantly in the month of February?
Yes.
Slept there every day?
Yes.
What about the previous December? Were you there every day?
No.
Why not?
Because we was still going through problems. I was trying to make sure everything was right within me and within this relationship, because I've been through a bad relationship once before, and I do not want to go through. Didn't want to go through another bad relationship.
You know you are obligated under this lease.
I was trying to help her. She was in a financial bind. We was together. I had my own separate apartment. I helped her out. This is not only this is a lease, but this is her house. This is her and her ex-husband's house.
Do you own this house?
I own 1/4% of the home, and when it was presented to me if we wanted to lease it and do a lease option, I didn't think it was a good idea, but Mr. Jones did.
Just a minute. What do you mean you own 1/4 of the home?
Well, it's a home that is actually owned by my ex-husband's parents.
Yes.
And during the time we were married, I owned 1/4% of it. When I vacated the marriage, my ex-husband took over the house.
Are you still on the deed as a 1/4 owner of the house?
I haven't seen the deed, ma'am. And I mean, recently, as far as I know, yes.
I'm not.
As far as I know, yes.
Miss Cook.
No, seriously, as far as I know, yes.
You were divorced. In the divorce decree, it says who owns what. Who owns what piece of property. So, as far as you know, you own
25%.
25% of this property. So if the property is sold, you get 25% of its value.
Yes.
So who do you pay the rent to?
Pay the rent to Mr. He is our landlord.
Well, he only owns 1/4 of the property, according to you.
Yes. His parents actually did the loan, but when we were married, we paid for the house. Once the marriage was dissolved, Mr.
Why
Brian
are you
Cook-
paying him any money if each of you own the same percentage of the house?
Because we decided, Mr. Jones and I decided that we were going to take over the home and buy Mr. and his parents out of the home.
Well, you don't buy him out of the home if you're renters.
Well, we were going to buy the home at the end of the lease.
Why are you paying him any money if each of you own the same percentage of the house?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Leslie Cook says ex-fiancé Moore Jones owes for breaking an apartment lease. Moore is countersuing for the return of his property.
Are you still staying in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
With your 3 children?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you plan to stay in the house with your 3 children?
No, because of this arrangement, because Mr. Jones left, he is putting the home on the market, and we have to find another place to stay.
Okay.
Because I can't afford it. I cannot afford it.
Oh, well, you should tell your ex-husband that you can't afford to pay $950 for your 1/4 of the house. You should be able to cut that in half. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? If you own the same percentage of the house as your landlord, I don't understand why you would pay your ex-husband rent unless he was kicking back half the rent to you, because you each own the exact same thing.
Because the money that we put into the home was going to be set aside for a down payment.
Oh.
Down payment so we can
Down
buy
payment, so
we
he
can
was
buy
going
the
to
home.
take this $950 a month and put it aside so that the two of you could buy the house.
Yeah, not all 900. The portion that was over the mortgage, yes.
And how much is the mortgage?
The mortgage is $666.
I suggest you find another place to live. Look, this is not a clean lease agreement. Since you each own the same percentage of property, I don't see why he should be responsible for paying off a mortgage on a house that he's not going to be living in. Now, what about his property that's there? What do you have of his property that's
I
there,
have
Ms.
pictures
Cook?
here.
Just tell me what you have.
His bedroom set, his couch and love seat, and coffee table with 2 end tables, and a entertainment center.
Is that what she has of yours?
In the garage, I have my kids' bikes, my kids' prices, pictures of me when I was a baby, and my kids' pictures when they were babies. And have a few other things that's in the garage that I want out of the garage.
Okay, are those things in the garage? Probably.
Yes, I haven't touched anything.
We have to set up a date and time when he can come and get his stuff. What's a good time for you?
Anytime, I'm open.
What's a good time for you?
Anytime after 5 o'clock, anytime after 5:30.
Do you want him to come with somebody to get his stuff? Would it be easier for you, or do you want somebody with you in the house?
Yes, I would like somebody there because I don't trust him because he threatened me this past weekend, so I don't want him
That
coming
is
over there
far
by
from
himself.
the truth.
Who do you want there?
I would prefer a police officer.
Well, can you get a police officer to accompany you?
I can call, I'm sure I could.
Okay. The court will prepare an order indicating that 5 days from today's date, between 5:30 and 7:30, you come and pick up your stuff. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't think that it went fairly because this is something that we both did together, and now I'm stuck and I can't afford to keep the place. Now I have to look for somewhere else to live.
Learn how to talk and communicate, and it best, try to leave on good terms.
And now the next case.
All parties on Calderon versus Moore. Steps forward, please.
23-year-old child care provider Erica Calderon is suing her former friend, 33-year-old salesperson Cammie Moore, for babysitting fees and the unpaid balance on a car.
Ms. Calderon, your complaint alleges two things. First, that the defendant, for whom you did some babysitting, owes you some money for the babysitting. Your second cause of action is about a car that you sold to her. She made partial payment on the car and did not make the rest of the payment on the car.
Correct.
Those two things.
Correct.
I gather that your arrangement was that you would accept as payment, when you started to babysit for her, whatever money she was getting from the state for child care.
Correct.
When did you start babysitting for her?
I first started babysitting for her in December.
How much were you paid a month by the state to babysit for her?
The first month I was paid like $272.
How many children were you caring for?
Just one.
And in the month of January, how much were you paid?
I was paid $300.
300 even?
372 also.
And in February, how much were you paid?
Nothing.
Did you babysit for her in February?
I babysat for her 2 weeks. And I was just doing it more of a favor for her.
So you babysat for her for 2 weeks as a favor?
Right. I did that because she had told me that she didn't want to leave her daughter with her mom because her mom was not fit to babysit her. And she didn't have anybody else to do it.
Was she working?
Yes, she was.
So what do you claim she owes you for babysitting?
I claimed that she owed me a total of $500.
Well, I know that that's what you claim. How do you get to that figure?
She had agreed to pay me whatever the state didn't pay me out of her pocket, but she was going to pay me $250 an hour instead of $213 an hour. But I also babysat for her while she went on a trip, and she had told me that she was going to pay me $160 for that, which she did not pay me for that either.
How many hours a day did you watch the baby?
I was babysitting her up to 18 hours a day.
Did you keep a log?
I kept a log, but I didn't bring it with me. But I have the proof saying that I babysat her that many hours that month that she also signed.
I'd like to see it. This is what was submitted to the state.
Correct.
Did you have an agreement with her to pay anything over
Nothing.
what the state provided?
Nope. I was under the understanding that the state would pay for any hours, hour to hour, dollar to dollar. I did not realize that there was a cap to it, because I had used the state before and I have worked that many hours, and my mom did take care of my child, and I did choose Erica over my mother, which now I realize I should not have, but it was always paid. There was never any out-of-pocket expenses. But what Erica refuses to say is I did pay $25 deductible each month.
She paid me $25 a month one time, which was in December.
No, that is
But
not
then
true.
also she kept borrowing money from us, also to do laundry, for gas for her car,
And it was
Well,
paid
that-
for
back.
milk, everything.
You didn't do any babysitting for her after February. But then you sold her a car.
Correct.
And you sold her a car, according to you, for $600.
Correct.
And she had money to give you as a deposit of $200.
Right.
Did you at that time say to her, look, you still owe me money from the babysitting, so I'd like to treat some of this as babysitting money?
No. And the reason why I didn't do that was because she had told me when she got her income tax that she was going to pay us for the child care that she had owed us and also for the car when she got her income tax.
What kind of car did you sell her?
An 81 Toyota Tercel wagon.
For which she gave you a down payment of $200.
Correct.
Owing you $400.
Correct.
But then you took the car back.
We took it back because...
A month later.
Right.
So she had the car for 1 month.
Right.
And you took it back because she didn't pay you the other $400.
Right.
Did you give her back the $200?
No, I did not, because I had a
Or the
contract with her.
repairs.
Just a second.
I had a written contract that she was supposed to pay me the money, which she did not, when she got her income tax, which she did not.
So you
She
got your
broke
car
the
back?
contract. Right. She broke the contract.
No, I did
Shh,
not.
shh, just a second. I'll let you speak in a minute.
I'm sorry.
But you got your car back.
Right.
And you got your car back, and you kept her $200.
Right.
Which, as far as I'm concerned, covers your babysitting, any extras that you might have done for her. So I assume that the reason that you initiated this lawsuit was not for the babysitting money. The reason you instituted this lawsuit was because of the car.
Well, initially...
Because you would have initiated the lawsuit back in March if she owed you money.
Well, I kept giving her chances because, we were friends. I wasn't doing it. Kept giving her chances. She wasn't working. She was working on and off. It was just...
Friends don't sue friends.
And
Well, sometimes they do if they owe money. Were you supposed to I'm just curious. Your arrangement was you were supposed to give her money, the other $400 for the car when you got your income tax. Is that right?
Before we even entered into the arrangement, she was sitting in her van, and I said, listen, I want to help you because I know that I have, you've helped me in the past. I do not really technically want the car because it's neither here nor
Give me
there.
a break.
The
Will you
fact,
please, you don't buy a used car because you don't technically need it if you don't have money.
no, I didn't technically want it, but I wanted to help them as much as, they say they helped me. But they know that there was problems with my tax return last year because of my daughter's name being hyphenated. I even reminded her of that. I said, listen, they've received it, they processed it. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be here in 2 weeks. Do you understand that? Oh, yeah, I understand that. For 4 weeks after that, her or her husband was continuously asking me if I had got my tax return.
All right, so how much did you get back?
I only got $281. There was no way it would cover it. He came to get the car. She never came to get the car. He came to my door, knocked on the door, stepped away from the door, and started throwing my stuff out of the car up against the wall. Not only my stuff, but my mother's stuff that she just purchased too, with several things that were broken. I never once instigated any kind of an argument with him. I did not come out of the house. I called the police. I asked him not to do that, knowing that they have just as thin walls as I do in my apartment. They knew the problems that I was having with my daughter and that I needed that vehicle in order to suffice the things I had to do with her.
All right, so you didn't take the car because you were doing them a favor. You took the car because you needed it.
No, I could have bought a different car, but
Miss
I didn't.
Moore, don't think I'm foolish. People do not buy used cars because they want to do somebody a favor, especially somebody that has no money.
I guess I'm stupid and I do that.
No, you're not stupid. You're just trying to be sympathetic. But you took the car back. Was there any problem with the car when you took it back?
No, there was not.
So you have your car back. You can sell it again for $600.
Plus, it has a brand new starter on it that went out 3 days after I got it.
Did you put in a new starter?
Yes, I did, and
How
I
much?
never once asked them
Just
for it.
Just a second. How much was the new starter?
$110.
Okay, was there a new starter put in the car?
Yes, there was, but when she had told us about it, she told us that it had only cost her $60.
Whether it cost you $60 or $110, she put some money in the car, right? That you would have had to put in the car. Do you still have the car?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you still drive the car?
We've using it. Yes, we have.
So you're using it. So you have a car with a starter, you got a $260 profit, right?
Yeah.
Forget it. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Yes, this is case number 137 on the calendar in the matter of Oglesby versus Magallanes. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Miss Oglesby, according to the complaint that I've read, On April 21st, you went to your ex-boyfriend's house. You and your ex-boyfriend have a child together, and it was your intention to retrieve some property. You arrive at the house, and the defendant is there.
Yes.
You and the defendant exchanged some words.
Yes, we did.
Nasty words.
Yes.
Why, I couldn't tell you, but you exchanged some nasty words. According to your complaint, the next day, while you were in or around your home, the defendant shows up with someone else in her car. They get out of the car. Your children are in your car.
In the car.
You get in your car because you see her, and she kicked your car and terrorized your children who were in the car.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you want her to pay for A, the damage to your car, and B, for terrorizing your children, right?
Yes.
So you get to the house on April 21st, the ex-boyfriend's house. Who answers the door?
Nobody answered the door, Your Honor. He wouldn't open the door.
How did you become involved with the defendant?
As I was leaving, he came out on the balcony, and I asked him, you know, just let me get the clothing. I need it for my daughter for school. And he...
Just a minute. I would like her out of the room, please. Go ahead.
Okay. He came out on the balcony, and he says, get out of here. You left me for another guy, this and that. And at that time, she came out on the balcony, and I exchanged words with her.
Well, what were the words you exchanged with her?
I just asked her, like, you know, who are you, and things like that. Really was none of my business, but I just asked her. And she didn't say...
But it wasn't nice. You didn't say, who are you?
No.
What is your name?
No, no.
So you were annoyed and nasty and screaming at your ex-boyfriend and screaming at her. And then you left.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened the next day?
The next day I was coming home from a fair in our city, Orange Blossom Festival, and I had my friend with me, and my brother was with me that day. And we had 2 kids in the car, and then we stopped at my cousin's and we picked up my 2 daughters. And on my way home, I witnessed her nephew driving down my street. I was leaving the gates, and I saw him coming into the gates of the apartments, and he was looking at me like, you know, what are you doing here? And I was kind of wondering.
Okay, so nephew. So you see the nephew driving down the street. Mm-hmm. And?
And so I turned my car around because I was going to go to my cousin's house because I didn't know what he was doing on my street. I was kind of a little bit worried. So as I was stopped my car, I got out of my car and I was standing there because he was going to turn around. I thought he wanted to talk to me or something, so I got out of my car.
Your Honor, if I can
Just a minute. I thought you said you were driving to your cousin's house because you didn't know what was going on. He was looking at you funny, so what did you get out of your car for?
I got out of my car because I wanted to clear up what happened with me and her the day before on the balcony. I didn't want any trouble.
Go ahead.
So he didn't turn around at the first street. He went to my street, honked the horn, and the defendant came out of my street with her 2 friends in her truck. And I got back in my car because I saw her coming, and my 9-year-old daughter was screaming, bloody murder. My 6-year-old daughter was crying, and they were screaming. She's all, no, Mom, no, Mom. And
what were they screaming for? So far, nothing's happened.
Because that guy, she didn't know what he was doing on my street. And I told my friend, I think that...
We passed the guy. You got back in your car. I thought you told me you got back in your car when you saw the nephew. And then you saw her car.
I saw her come out of my street, okay? And I got back in my car, and I sat there, and I told my friend, call 911, because I didn't know what they were going to do.
Where was your friend?
She was in the passenger seat.
So what happened next?
Okay, so I got back in the car, and by that time, she skidded up in front of my car. Her and 2 other girls jumped out of the car, came up to my window. My window was halfway down. I said, my kids are in the car, my kids are in the car. And she didn't say nothing, but she said, you're mine. And I just seen this foot coming, and then her friend hit my car with a cane, a brown long cane.
Was there a dent on your car?
Yes, ma'am. I have a picture.
Let me see. Uh-huh. Got it. Okay. Estimate.
This is from my insurance company, and this is from the body shop. I had to pay $500, and they paid $315.
So you had a $500 deductible?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
On April 21st, approximately like 4 o'clock in the evening.
4 o'clock is in the afternoon, last time I looked.
Early afternoon, early evening. I was invited
over to Carlos's house.
I don't care. You were in Carlos's house. She
Okay.
comes over.
And we were celebrating my birthday. I had nothing to do with no relationship, honestly, with Carlos. I walked into the kitchen. I heard a knock at the door, and that's when the plaintiff ended up hearing my voice. I said, "Someone is at your door." And then the plaintiff had knocked twice, this time even louder. And then after that, I was like, "Oh my God, who is that?" He sat there and he told me, "Oh, that's my baby's mom." And I said, "Oh, great. I don't want any trouble. I didn't even bring my own vehicle." He went to my residence and he picked me up.
I don't care about this. Just get to what's important, madam. You had words with her. She started screaming. There's no question in my mind that she opened up a big fresh mouth, and called you a whole bunch of names when you came outside. On the patio, she opened up a big fresh mouth, and then she left.
In a gated community, she entered the residence, and then she got on her cell phone, and she made numerous calls, which I had called authorities, and Carlos had asked her to leave.
Okay, because she was pretty frightening.
Yeah.
She was pretty frightening.
Right.
So then my question to you, madam, is why the next day do you go to her house?
That is not accurate. The whole scenario of the case is like, it was one day, which was on the 21st. The 22nd is when I went. I got to there's a local gas station. There's another street coming eastbound.
I don't care,
and
just get
she
to
ended
it.
up coming oncoming traffic with her 2 children in the vehicle, and she boxed my vehicle into the gasoline station. There was a truck.
Shh. Hey, no, she's not. No, she's not. You got a miserable hot temper.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Gwen Oglesby says her ex-boyfriend's friend, Dominique Magalonis, kicked her car. Dominique says Gwen attacked her.
Go ahead. She boxed your car in. So she's even more frightening. And then she took off.
No, she didn't, Your Honor.
You took off.
No.
Somebody left.
No, this is a...
You're not still at the gas station.
No, the whole thing is the reason why I ended up leaving is because I was rolling up in my lower truck, and I was rolling up the window, and I could see her coming out like this, and they said, "Oh my God, there she is," which was my other witness. I had 3 witnesses that didn't even show up today because she's intimidating.
Just a second. I don't care about you 3 witnesses who didn't show up today. Did she hit you?
Yes, she did. She struck me from my driver's side window.
Did you call? Hey, quiet.
He was with me.
Quiet.
As a result of that, the gentleman on back of me in the other vehicle let me go.
So you left?
I ended up going down on this one street that directs from my house to her house.
Perfect.
And then I ended up calling a deputy that I know specifically in the area that we live in to ask him basically, what am I supposed to be doing with this?
Why did you go to her house the next day?
To go out there and let her know that I had just started working for a new office, and I didn't want her going into my office and acting a fool like she did at the apartment.
Just a second. So, she acts like a maniac 2 days in a row.
Correct, with her children in the vehicle.
2 days in a row.
Correct.
The next day, you, with a couple of friends in your truck, go to her house to have a discussion with her? A reasonable discussion with her?
No, ma'am.
What did you go there for?
She had occupants in the vehicle. She had 2 daughters.
What did you go there for?
To basically explain to her that I am
So
not
you
gonna
went
do it.
there to have a reasonable, calm
Yes.
discussion with her?
I conduct myself in a decent manner.
What'd you kick her car for? You kicked her car.
No, because the reason why, I admit that
You
I did
did
kick
kick her
car.
car.
Because, okay, if anybody caused any trauma to her 2 children, the daughters, she had a knife inside the front vehicle.
Shh, I don't want to hear you.
Okay, and about her saying that I had apparently called her these names, she was standing outside the vehicle. She ran inside the car. She had her hair down, as it is now. She pulled it up in a ponytail, and she says, "You know what? It's one-on-one, B-I-T-C-H." That's exactly what you said to me, with your children inside the vehicle.
Wonderful. She's not, listen to me. She's a hothead. She's got a hot temper. You're a fool because I don't believe that you don't have a hot temper, because somebody who acts as crazy as she acted 2 days in a row.
Correct.
You don't respond to that by going to her house with friends in your truck. You had no business going over there. You have a friend in the police department.
Correct.
Your friend in the police department would not say to you, "Well, after acting like a nut, I think it would be a good idea to go over there and try to have a calm discussion with her."
Correct.
And you did, and you ended up kicking her car and causing damage.
Because she tried to exit the vehicle with a knife, and she was on a cell phone.
No,
She
no,
passed
no,
a cell
no,
phone.
no, madam. Listen carefully to me. You had no business being there with your 2 friends in a truck. You kicked her car.
But it was out of self-defense. I wasn't trying to cause any harm
self-defense
to
and
her. You were on the phone, and I said,
Excuse
you
me,
know
Your
what?
Honor.
I told her straight up.
Be quiet, hothead.
Okay.
I told her.
Quiet, hothead.
I told her honestly, I said, you know what, you're a very beautiful woman, but the way you're acting towards me, I have no relationship with Carlos, nothing.
Just a second. I don't believe you when you say you went to her house for the express purpose of having a calm discussion with her. You went there with 2 cars, not 1. Your nephew's car went first. You came in your truck second with other people in your truck. You ended up banging her car. But for the fact that you went to her house, you would not have placed yourself in this circumstance. You have to pay for the damage.
But yet
Period.
let her come to my residence and drive up and down my residence, so I don't even stay at my house anymore. I've moved out of location.
I'm telling you, she's a hothead. She's not going to get 1 penny for what she says was trauma to her children. She's suing not only for the damage to her car, but for the trauma to her children. She caused that.
I'm not worried about the money. I'm just worried about her leaving me alone. That's basically what I want.
Well, I want to tell you something. You didn't handle it right, madam. Handling it right was not going to her house
She comes
with a whole
around
bunch
to
of
my-
other people.
That's not true, though. I didn't come to her to sit there and try to cause damage to her.
Whether you did or whether you didn't, it was an exercise in poor judgment, considering what had transpired the 2 previous days, to go to her residence.
She
and
presented
to
a note
confront her.
into my-
Uh,
on
listen,
my-
listen to me. Period. Period.
When she goes to my office and she puts
Period. Now, your girls were traumatized?
Your Honor. Yes,
Your
they-
girls were traumatized?
Yes, they were.
I have a feeling that if your girls were in the car, you would have said the exact same things as you said when you went to pick up their property at the house, Big Mouth.
I don't do that in front of my children, Your Honor.
Oh, really not? I don't think you can control yourself. So I'm eliminating any claim for trauma to your children. You better learn how to control your temper. But you do get the damage to the car. Your out-of-pocket is $500. Judgment for the plaintiff. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The defendant's just upset that I told my ex-boyfriend that she was really a man instead of really a woman.
Her attitude is like way off limit.
And now the next case.
All parties on Caldwell versus Madrid. Step forward.
24-year-old clerk Mary Caldwell is suing her ex-girlfriend, 24-year-old plumber Janet Madrid, for an unpaid loan to buy a car.
Miss Caldwell, you and the defendant were living together. You were in a relationship when you claim you made a loan to her to purchase a car for the down payment. Is that right?
Correct.
And according to you, the car down payment was $2,500. She made 1 payment of $200 to you and has failed to pay the rest. You want your money back.
Yes, correct.
Defendant says there was never a loan. When was the car purchased?
July of 2000.
How long had you been living together prior to that?
Over a year?
Now, as part of the defendant's response to your complaint, she says that a year before that, you had wanted to purchase a car, and she sold a couple of motorcycles that she had. Is that right?
Yes.
And gave you the money to put down on a car that you wanted to buy. Is that true?
Yes.
How much did she give you?
I don't have an amount for you, I'm sorry.
Did you ever pay her back?
No.
You are living together at this time in a relationship as a family. Is that right?
Correct, at the time.
And am I also correct that this car that she purchased was put in both of your names?
Correct. For the reason that she didn't have a driver's license, she was unable to drive.
All right. Now tell me the circumstances surrounding this alleged loan, Miss Caldwell.
We were in a relationship. It was falling out at the time, but she asked me to loan her the money, in which I
What
loaned
did she
her.
say?
She said, I want to get a car. And I told her, okay, that's fine. I had the money on me. I said, well, it needs to be a loan. Do you understand that? And she said, yes. At that time, we went shopping around for a car. She chose the vehicle that she wanted. I made the down payment on it. She told me that she was going to pay me back. It was a verbal agreement between the both of us.
That sounds all pretty pat. All right, Miss Madrid, let me hear your version of it.
I never told her that I want to borrow the
No,
money.
I want you to tell me step by step. Don't tell me what you never told her.
We both said that we need a car.
Why? You already had a car.
No, because the car that she bought before this car had got repoed because she couldn't make the car payment on it.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that.
Sorry.
When had it gotten repossessed?
Maybe about 2 to 3 months before we bought this other car. And I was paying the last couple payments on that car because she couldn't pay for it. She lost her job. And so I said, I want to go get a car. And she's like, okay, yeah, we do need a car. And she had just got a settlement from an accident.
And she's like, well, I have the down payment for the car. And I was like, okay, fine. I thought it was just like me giving her the down payment for her car. I thought it was an even swap.
Well, even swap. You said you gave her $800. This is $2,500.
Yeah, well, our whole relationship, you know, she never paid bills. I paid all the bills. She never paid rent, nothing. I supported her.
Your
She
Honor.
didn't have a job. She didn't have a job. Anytime she needed money, okay, here, Mary, here's some money.
So?
So I took the loan out on the car to finance the rest of the car. And I've been paying on it ever since.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. In February of 2001, you gave her $200. What was that for?
It was probably for insurance or something.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Because insurance was in her name.
Yes, the insurance was under my name because she didn't have a license. How was the insurance going to be under her name if she didn't have a license?
I asked you a question.
Yes.
Do you work?
Yes, I do.
What kind of work do you do?
I do clerical.
Where? For whom?
For a hospital.
Which hospital?
It's actually called Medical Group.
How long have you been working there?
About 5 months.
Prior to that, where were you working?
Prior to that, I was working at a temporary agency.
So you weren't working regularly prior to that?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me about this alleged $200 payment.
When she was kicking me out of the house, she told me that she wanted all my stuff out of the house. I said, okay, that's fine. I'm moving all my stuff out of the house. She
What
told
day
me
was that?
maybe February, in the middle of February. So right around our supposedly anniversary is when it happened.
Well, tell me about it.
I asked her for money to give me some kind of repayment on the loan. She told me, okay, here's $200. She wrote me a check.
You have a copy of that check?
Mm-hmm.
Can I see it? Looks like she gave you money pretty regularly. What'd she give you money for pretty regularly?
Mainly to pay the bills.
No, she's got things here for the gas company. Pacific Bell? Here's one for $100 to you. On the bottom it says Janet's stuff. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Mary Caldwell, that's you, another $100. Mary Caldwell, $160. What kind of work do you do?
I'm a plumber.
Work full-time?
Yes.
All right, Miss Caldwell, let me tell you what I think, madam. What I think is that the two of you were living in a relationship as a family. And when the year before you wanted to buy a car, she gave you some money. And when the following year she wanted to buy a car and you had some extra money, you said, I'll put down the down payment, you make the payments, because you weren't working. You were working as a temp. And you were all living as a family. And now that you're not living as a family anymore, you say this was a loan. I don't believe you. Your case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Guys, this is case number 156 on the calendar in the matter of LaDonte versus Davis. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have seats, please.
Ms. LaDonte, it is your complaint that the defendant... What is that vacuum cleaner doing here?
That's my vacuum cleaner that's busted right now because my hair is inside of it.
Could we do something with that vacuum cleaner and take it away, please? Or just put it so I don't look at it. Props I don't need. Thank you. All right, Ms. LaDonte, it is your complaint that you had a hair process done by the defendant, and as a result of the faulty process, you're losing your hair. You want him to pay $5,000 for the treatments you're going to receive over the next 5 years, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The defendant is counterclaiming because he says you stopped payment on the check and never complained to him about the process. That's what the case is about?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How long had you been going to the defendant's salon for service?
Almost a year and a half.
And he had done work for you satisfactorily before?
Yes.
What kind of work?
Extensions put in my hair in a bonding process.
Explain that to Bird.
It's
He
a
doesn't
powder
understand
and
it.
a glue that you put into your hair to make your hair fuller and longer.
You put glue into what part of your scalp or your...
No, it's put into my hair, into each strand.
Okay, and he's been performing that service for you for well over a year.
Right.
And you've had no problem?
No.
Good. So when did you start to have a problem?
When he gave me a $1,200 process and promised me that it would last me 9 months.
Okay. When was that? When did he give you this $1,200 process?
On April 24th.
Tell me about it. Did you go in for a normal glue job?
I was going to get, you know, the regular bonding done. He says, I have a new process for you. It's going to cost you $1,200. And he dyed my hair, and he put the $1,200 process into my hair.
I'm going to get to you in a second. What was the difference, as he explained it to you, between the old process and the new one?
Okay. It's supposed to be a protein-based glue. So instead of making my hair damaged, be more beneficial to me to have healthier hair and go back every 9 months instead of every 3 months.
Okay, so you go in on April 24th, and he gives you this expensive bonding job.
Right.
What happened next?
The 25th, I noticed my hair was all orange. I called him up. He said, come on in and I'll fix it for you.
Okay.
And he fixed it for me.
Tell me what he did.
Excuse me, Chuck?
Take the thing off.
Look what he's done to my hair.
Talk to me. On 4/26, he recolored your hair.
Right.
Has that ever happened before when
Never.
you colored your hair?
Never.
Okay. Then what happened?
He told me not to wash my hair for 48 hours from the 24th. The 26th, I washed my hair. That was 48 hours. And as I get into the shower,
Don't be dramatic.
I'm not being dramatic.
There's
It's
only
very
one drama gal here. Are
I'm not-
those the extensions, or is that your hair?
They're both. I have pieces here from the root. Your Honor, I'm just very upset, emotionally upset.
There's no way.
I'll show you, Greg.
It's that far. When I attach it that far,
Okay.
an inch from the scalp.
Well, Bird, I'm not going to ask you to do this.
You ripped out my hair.
Miss LaDante.
Did she wash it with
This is my roots.
dog shampoo, or did you wash it
That's
with
a conversation.
Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis.
Okay. Now, in all that clump of hair that you have over there, you picked out one piece, and you showed me that that was a root. Are there any other hair strands there that you can identify as your natural hair?
Yes.
Just take out what you can identify as your natural hair, madam. And then I will see if I can identify it as natural hair. Perhaps Mr. Davis can.
Shall I give it to him?
No, bring it up here. Because Bird doesn't want to go touch that. Bird doesn't like to touch those things.
There you go.
Okay.
See my
Okay. What I see is the extensions came off, and I see some dark hair.
That's my root.
Okay. All right. So of all that mess over there that you have over there, this you say is your natural hair.
Well, some of it in here is...
Not all of this is your natural hair. This is extension.
Yes.
Take the rest of that clump there, put it back in where it belongs. Very good. The whole thing.
This too?
That's all came out.
This all came out.
It's all came out. So it's not your hair. This came out, which is the process that he put on. This is not natural hair. This is not your hair. This is somebody else's hair, or some...
Human hair.
Somebody made this from a sweater or something. I don't know. Okay. Now, let us assume, Miss LaDante, that it is true that the extensions that he put in came out.
Yes.
And you paid him $1,200. So why are you suing him for $5,000?
Why?
Yes.
Okay. I need hair integration.
Show me.
Okay. I have a bill here for an estimate of doing $1,004.
For what?
For hair integration. It's
What's
right
hair
here.
integration?
It's almost like a wig, but it's not.
You don't need a wig. Is that your natural hair?
No,
Listen to me.
half of it isn't, half of it is.
Madam, why don't you just cut off the extensions that you have in your hair? Yeah, I'm looking
I'm
at the
going
top
to.
of your hair. Top of your hair looks thick, looks fine. You know, you may need a little bit of a touch job right over there near the roots, but we're not talking about that. It looks as if this is healthy hair. You don't expect him to pay for another process, for another integration process for your head. He's not going to do that.
Integration has no bonding, no glue, no nothing.
So, you want a different process? Go get a different
I'm in
process.
the marketing business. I have hair falling in front of my customers.
Why don't you cut? It's not your hair. Why don't you just cut off the extensions?
This never happened before until he did this process.
Listen to me. Your hair isn't falling out. Your extensions are falling out. The extensions are from here down. Is that right?
Right.
Cut them off.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lisa LaDante says hair salon owner Greg Davis owes for damaging her hair. Lisa says after receiving hair extensions, her real hair fell out.
Okay, let me hear you.
Chuck called me and said, let's talk about this. I said, okay, what's the problem? He's like, well, Lisa's petrified of you, da-da-da. I'm like, Chuck, come on. She's been coming to me for 1.5 years. I said, why hasn't she called me before now and said, you know, Greg, this is a problem. She knows it's not real hair. He's like, you know, come on, let's negotiate the price. And I said, what do I look like, Monty Hall? I did the service, she signed the check, everything over and done with.
She stopped payment on your check. So you did not get paid for this process.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Your counterclaim, sir, for this money is denied, and I'm dismissing your claim. You, however, listen to me very carefully. You didn't pay for the service. If you had paid for the service, I would have awarded you the full amount that you had, in fact, paid him. But you stopped payment on the check. You were dissatisfied with the service, so you are out no money.
My hair is damaged.
It may be damaged, madam. Do you have...
You make your appointment.
You, Shade.
Happen.
All right, I'm going to take care of it very easy. Don't show me papers. You have a witness here to testify?
Yes,
He wasn't
please,
even
Chuck.
there. He was not even there.
Yes, he
I
was.
want you to be quiet. Who are you?
Why?
I'm her fiance.
Are you a hairdresser?
No, I should.
Sit down. You have someone who is an expert in cosmetology, who is a licensed hairdresser, who will testify that they examined your hair and that your hair, as a result of this process, was damaged irreparably. Do you have such a witness? No. Then your case is dismissed because you have already been compensated by the fact that you stopped payment on his check. You are not out any money. He should not receive any money. But I, quite frankly, don't see why, if you take this hair that is not yours and cut it off, do your roots a little bit. That's just my suggestion, and I am not really an expert in the area. Put a little conditioner in your hair. It may be just fine. If you are going to continue to put glue and stuff in your hair, it's going to continue.
I didn't put glue in my hair. He did.
He didn't drag you in off the street, madam. Now, I don't think that that process can be good for your hair. You dye your hair. You put peroxide in your hair, you put glue in your hair, you put bonding stuff in your hair, and you expect your hair to be healthy. It ain't going to happen. You have my verdict. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I just don't want anybody in Daytona Beach to ever let him do extensions and let this happen to them.
You can see by her roots that she don't even go and have her hair done on a regular basis.
I did not do my roots due to the fact that I was told not to touch my hair, so he, the phony, would not blame another hairdresser for what he did.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ackerman versus Peart. Step forward, please.
44-year-old accounts receivable clerk Ruth Ackerman and her daughter, 18-year-old Crystal, are suing Crystal's half-sister, 24-year-old office manager Melissa Peart, and her husband, Tyson Peart. Crystal says Melissa won't return her furniture.
What's your first name?
Crystal?
Crystal, this is your sister.
Yes.
You're the mother.
Yes.
You're the husband.
Yes.
Hers. According to your complaint, there came a time that, for some reason, you moved into your sister's home with her husband. Had she been living with you before?
My daughter?
Yes. How old were you?
I was 17 at the time. Oh, sorry, 18 in November. I just turned 18.
Why did you go and live with your sister?
I was living at a drug home at the time with my friends, and she suggested that would be the best place for me to
Were you
be.
in a drug home?
Friends using drugs.
How long had you been living there?
For about a month and a half.
Where did you live before that?
With my mother.
Why
and
did you move out of your mother's home?
Because I was a rebellious teen.
So your sister did a nice thing. She said, come and live with me.
Yes.
You lived there from November of 2000 until when?
To February.
And then she told you to leave?
Yes.
Why?
Well, we weren't getting along the end of the last month in February and January. Weren't getting along. She did kick me out about 5 different times.
Were you breaking the rules?
Yes.
This lawsuit says that when you left 2 things there. One was a chest and your bed.
Correct.
And you want those things back or their value. Your sister says she held on to them for about 6 months and then got rid of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you go after you left your sister's house?
I moved in with a friend into an apartment.
Why didn't you take your chest and your bed?
We couldn't fit it in.
Did you tell your sister that?
Yes.
What did she say?
She didn't say anything. She
Did
was
she
very
let-
silent towards me.
You were angry with her?
I was, Your Honor. I gave her 7 days to move her stuff out.
And this chest and bed, were they in a room that you needed?
Yes, they were.
She doesn't have to keep your stuff forever.
A couple times I was trying to make arrangements with my friends to get a truck to go in there and get my stuff out. Unfortunately, I have no truck. I have a little car, can't fit a bed and cedar chest on top of it.
When did you sell it?
June.
Who did you sell it to?
I sold it to a coworker of my husband's and to a friend.
Okay, how much did you get for it?
Total together, I got 110.
Now, your daughter moved out in February.
Mm-hmm.
Did you call your other daughter in February or March and say, I'm going to come and pick up this bed?
No, we didn't.
Why not?
We actually did tell Crystal that she could store the stuff at our house, so we kept telling her to go get the stuff.
And she didn't?
And she did not go get the stuff.
When you moved in with your sister, you lived there for November, December, January, 3 months. Did she support you?
Yes.
You weren't working?
No, I was looking for a job. I had a job when I was living there, and I did lose the job.
So your sister took care of you?
Yes.
So why would you want to sue her?
I just want my stuff back.
She doesn't have it.
Well, I want what she sold. That's my bed, my cedar chest. My cedar chest means a lot. I got it for my 16th birthday from my parents. I mean,
Oh, she sold both things.
it's valuable stuff to me.
She doesn't have them. She kept them in her house for months. You couldn't get a truck. Your mother wasn't talking to her directly. She was talking to you. She could have stored the stuff but never made arrangements. And I assume that you and your other daughter are not getting along for some reason. Is that right?
In the last couple of months, yes.
Oh, that's
Prior to her moving out and that, no. We were fine.
Your Honor.
Yes.
And the reason why this pretty much whole thing started, because I found my biological father, and when my grandfather passed away in May, he was asked to be a pallbearer, not my stepdad. So now the family's mad at me because I found my real dad, and they're just vindictive towards me right now.
She found her father 5 years ago. And I knew that 5 years ago, and I accepted that as long as she kept it to herself. Her father signed legal rights for adoption. He wanted nothing to do with her. And within my books of my feelings, he had no rights to her at all. I did tell her, that's fine, but you keep it to your side, your family, that's fine that you've seen your father. I did not need it in my life. I didn't have to have it in my life. My father that passed on was my father. She was only a granddaughter. A funeral is for the people who are alive, not dead. And my father wanted a quiet family funeral, and he was not my family. He might have been my daughter's, but he was not my family. So due to that, yeah, we got a lot of hurt out of it.
It's time for it to be over.
It is. And because of all this, Crystal decided to go get her stuff. I kept telling her to get it. Crystal was sick the day she made arrangements to go get the bed. I went with my daughter, Tracy, to go get it, and she was not home that day. So within 2 days, she had sold the bed, apparently.
But meanwhile, she took care of your daughter. And if the bad feeling that exists now between you and your daughter has to do with her finding a biological parent and involving him in your father's funeral, which is, I assume, what you are hurt about, you have to understand something. When you make choices, you made a choice, you had a child, and so did her biological father at that time, and I assume you were both much younger, but children have a natural curiosity. Children very often have a need to know their biological parents. Even if her adoptive father was wonderful to her, there is sometimes that need. And maybe it was wrong for her to involve her biological father in your father's funeral. I don't disagree with that. But it's over. It doesn't mar something forever. It doesn't mar that.
Your Honor, it wasn't me involving him into the funeral. It was actually my grandfather's wishes. They were very best friends in the past, and within the last 5 years, he begged me to bring him around because my grandpa was on his deathbed. And I brought him around only under my grandpa and grandma's wishes, and it was my grandfather's wishes to have him there. It wasn't me. I had no idea.
Did you tell that to your mother?
I surely did.
I don't
Certainly
believe
did.
it. I'm next to my dad on his deathbed. I was about the last one to see him before he went into his coma.
Well, what about your mother? Did your mother tell you that that's what he wanted?
My mother didn't tell me until the day we was at the funeral home making the arrangements of who the pallbearers were. That's
but
when
did
she
your
told
mother
me.
tell you that that was your father's request?
She said, I don't believe her.
Then you don't believe your mother and you don't believe your daughter?
No.
Then you have a problem.
No, because in Christmas time...
No, then you have a problem.
My father said what Melissa was doing was wrong. So why would he found something different?
Maybe it's because that's what he thought you wanted to hear. Why would your mother, who I assume lived with your father for how many years?
30 years.
30 years. Why would your mother do something that she knew was exactly the opposite of what your father would want done at his funeral? In any event, she doesn't have the bed and chest anymore. She sold them. Did you tell your mother you sold them for $120?
I miscalculated. I apologize.
We have the bills of sale.
I have the
Can I
bill of
see them,
sale.
please?
I actually
And the
sold.
rental agreement that Crystal signed.
I have the bill of sale on both of them, and I actually sold them on the 11th of May and the 1st of June. I arranged for pickup on the 4th of June. After I gave Crystal, I talked to her, wanted to give her one last chance to make arrangements to come get it
but she didn't.
You have any problem giving your sister the $110 you got for her things?
I do.
Chris, Missy didn't sell the bed
I want to
for-
explain something to you. This is a non-case. $110 is what she sold the stuff for. You're suing for $600, which is ridiculous. It costs more than $600 to feed you, take care of you, provide you with a home for 3 months, which your sister did, so I have no idea what you're doing here. However, I don't think it's fair that you keep the money for her things, so I'm going to give her the $110. That's it. Do you understand? Instead of saying thank you, you sue her. Ridiculous. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. Yeah, this is case number 122 on the calendar in the matter of Wilder versus Witt. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Miss Wilder, according to your complaint, you bought a bicycle for your son.
Yes.
And that bicycle was stolen off of your front porch.
Yes.
Several months later, the defendant's son was seen riding a bike that looked as if it was the same bike as had been stolen.
Right.
And it was later ascertained that it was, in fact, your bike.
Yes.
You want the defendant to pay for the cost of the repairs there were to the bike. The defendant says that her boyfriend purchased the bike for her son from a neighbor. She had absolutely no idea it was stolen. And she is counterclaiming, claiming that you have slandered her in the neighborhood by calling her a thief, family, thieves. Child has heard those kinds of comments that she says started with you.
Yes.
On what date was the bicycle stolen?
It was about 2 weeks after Christmas.
So sometime in January.
Yes.
And when, for the first time, was the defendant's son seen riding the bike?
The 24th of March of this year.
Are you neighbors?
Yes. We live a block away.
All right. Who first saw her son on the bike?
A neighbor of ours had first seen her son on the bike, and I was not at home at the time when the bike was brought to my fiance's attention, but he could explain that better than I could.
Go ahead. Tell me your last name.
Ruth, R-U-T-H, Stephen Ruth.
Go ahead.
Yes, it was on March 24th. It was
That I
about-
know. Tell me how you saw the bike.
It was in the morning, and a friend of mine, Dennis, brought the bike up to my front door, and he said, "Doesn't this look like Timmy's bike?" And I looked at it, and I said, "Well, yeah, that could be," but it had been changed so much that I couldn't tell at that time. So I took the serial number down, and then later on, when Sherry came home, we matched the numbers up, and they matched up with the receipt that she had. And so we went back over there, and she wouldn't answer the door. And then finally she answered the door and said that, could we settle it the next day? And I said, no, that I'm going to go call the police. So we called the police and went over there with the police. And the police checked the number, and they said, yeah, that's the bike.
Okay. And it was returned to you?
Yes.
Yes, that day.
Okay. Miss Witt, how did that bike come to be in your son's possession?
We gave it to him for his birthday, which
And where
was
did you
March
get it
23rd.
from? You didn't buy it. Your boyfriend bought it.
Right.
Is your boyfriend here today?
Yes, he is, Bob Smith.
Step up, please. Mr. Smith, where did you get this bicycle from?
I bought the bike from Kirk.
Kirk.
Kirk. Me.
From this gentleman here.
Yes.
When did you purchase it?
What date was it? February 22nd.
Tell me how it came about that you purchased the bike.
Cortland had mentioned that he would wanted a certain type of bike, you know, on his birthday. So I had to ask Kirk if he knew anybody that had a bike or where I could find a bike like that. And he said his friend was selling a bike. So we
Just
took
a second. Why did you ask Kirk?
He has a friend that used to own a bike shop on Bear Valley Road that had been gone out of business. And his friend said that he had a red line bike, which is the type that he wanted. So I took a look at it and I bought the bike.
Where did you go to look at it?
At Kirk's house.
You went to his house?
Uh-huh. He lives in the same neighborhood. His friend had brought the bike over.
Step up. Where did you get this bicycle from?
From Brian, a guy named Brian.
What's Brian's last name?
I don't know his last name.
Well, how do you reach him?
He came to my house with the bike, you know.
Well, he didn't just show up at your house with the bike.
Yeah, he did.
Somebody must have told him that you were looking for that kind of bike. Why would he just show up at your house with a bicycle?
I guess he needed money or something. He was trying to sell it to whoever was around.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
how much did you pay for the bike?
$200.
Who did you give the money to?
I gave the money to Kirk.
Is that right?
Yeah, and what it was is Brian came with the bike, you know, and I gave him the money. I was like the middleman for him, like, you know.
Did you get any money for yourself for selling the bike?
No.
He didn't give you anything? Not even $10?
No.
Why?
I didn't ask for it. I I didn't really have to do anything.
And I didn't know that. I thought we paid him. That's who I have the bill of sale from.
Let me see it, please.
And what I had told Sherry's fiance when he came to my house was that I didn't have the bill of sale with me. And same thing I told the police officer was because my fiance had purchased the bike. And it was he was laying tile that day and it was in his possession.
Your Honor, but she also stated that she had a yellow copy and that she bought it from the bicycle shop, which happened to be the same bicycle shop I originally bought it from. And I have the police report that states that.
But I thought that that's where he had gotten it.
You have any reason to believe that this lady stole a bicycle that belonged to your child? Just pay attention. On your front porch. She lives in a house where she can see your house across the street, and then she permits her child to ride that bike in the neighborhood right in front of your nose. Wouldn't that be stupid?
On his birthday.
Shh, just a sec. Shh. Don't speak. Wouldn't that be stupid?
Yes, it would.
Okay.
But
so,
I never accused her of stealing the bicycle.
I don't understand, Miss Wilder, what you think.
I think her boyfriend
She knows somebody.
knows who took it or possibly knew it was stolen. I don't think her
if you
son
think,
knew.
just a second, if you think that her boyfriend possibly knew it was stolen, he could also possibly not have known it was stolen. Aren't both things possible?
It's possible.
And what are you doing here? I believe that they paid $200 for this bicycle.
But the condition the bicycle was in, I mean...
You saw the bicycle, Miss Wilder, 2 months later.
The crank had been painted. The sticker on the crank had been painted.
Listen to me. You saw the bicycle 2 months later. And I don't know whether they did it or somebody who had it between the time it was stolen and the time you saw it 2.5 months later had painted it. I don't know. Did you paint the bike?
No, it's exactly how we bought it.
So somebody else had it in the 2.5 months. When was your son's birthday?
March 23rd.
Okay, and you saw it the next day. Somebody else had the bike. Somebody else painted it. Now you can sit down.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I'm not satisfied that any of them had any knowledge whatsoever that this was a stolen bicycle. I don't think that this lady would have given her son a stolen bicycle, especially to
Broke
ride
my
around the
heart.
street. It's ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sherry Wilder says neighbor Robin Witt owes for the cost to restore her son's bicycle. Robin says Sherry has been spreading rumors about her family.
Now, after this happened, did you start to say bad things about her?
No, I did not. Her children go to school with my children. I walk my son down to the bus stop. I do not talk to her kids.
Why not?
Because they don't talk to me. I have no
Did they
reason
ever
to
talk
talk
to you before?
No.
Okay. What information do you have that Miss Wilder has defamed you and called you a thief?
When she brought the police officers back to my house, and yes, I did answer the door.
No, don't talk to her. Talk to me. I'm asking you the question.
Okay, I'm sorry. She told the police officers, well, if you open their garage, you'll probably find the 2 scooters that were stolen out of my front yard, too.
That's not defamation. Go ahead. What's next?
Then my children got to where they didn't want to ride the bus. They wanted to ride back and forth, and I was wondering why, what was going on. They had children telling them at the bus stop that they were stealers and that...
That's all hearsay.
Well, I brought Samantha because she goes to the bus stop. She's my 5th grader. She's 10 years old. And she said Miss Wilder doesn't speak to them, but that her words were, she's not deaf. She heard her say these things to other neighbors. One of them living next door to my mother.
Just a second. Come up here, Samantha.
Where?
Come up here, Samantha. Oh.
Your Honor, the one other thing is the day that the police showed up to take...
I'm not interested in the bicycle anymore. I've resolved the issue of the
No,
bicycle.
it has to do with what she's saying about the kids in the neighborhood
Just a
and
second.
that.
I'm not finished. How old are you?
10.
I want you to think very, very carefully. And, you know, you have to make sure that when I ask you a question, you tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Only the truth. Got it? Do you know Miss Wilder?
Not very well.
Did you ever see her at the bus stop where you go to school?
Yeah.
Do you ever speak to her at the bus stop?
No.
Do you ever hear her say anything about you or your mother or your brother at the bus stop?
I have heard her.
What did you hear her say?
That we were thieves and that
Who's we?
me and my brother and my family.
Who did she say that to?
My grandma's next door neighbor.
What was your grandmother's next door neighbor doing outside? Does she have a child that goes on the bus?
Yes.
Did you say anything to your grandmother about it?
No.
Did you tell your mother about it?
Yeah.
What did you tell her?
That I had heard her talking about me and my brother and my family.
How'd that make you feel?
Bad.
Has anybody said anything to you at school?
Yes.
What do they say to you at school?
That we were thieves and that my brother was a thief and people had been pushing Cortland around, and it was really bad because they were calling us things, and Cortland didn't even want to go to school anymore.
You know that all that is not true.
Yes, I know that.
And that I don't believe at all that you or your brother or your mom stole anything. Okay. You understand that?
Yes.
And if some children say some bad things because adults aren't doing the right thing, that's a bad thing for them to say.
Yes.
But sometimes you even have to forgive adults because sometimes adults act like stupid children. That sometimes happens. Okay?
Okay.
Good. How do you do in school?
Good.
Yes?
I get straight A's.
Had a girl. Somehow I figured that. Okay. Go and sit down. Your conduct, Miss Wilder, is out of order.
Your Honor, I never said anything.
I believe you did. Not only do I believe you did, but I believe her. And I believe that because of the statements that you made, either you or your children or your fiancé or anybody else, that you placed Miss Witt's daughter and son in a circumstance at school that made them uncomfortable. I believe that you had no cause to believe that Miss Witt or either of her children had anything to do with the theft of your bike. And I do, in fact, believe that you made a statement overheard by this child that called this child, her brother, and her family thieves.
I didn't.
That's a very hurtful thing. So your case is dismissed. On your counterclaim, I am awarding you $1,000. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I only wanted to protect my children.
I've never said anything about her kids. I've never said anything about her.
It was an embarrassing situation for all of us.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of McCrae versus Lathers Higginbottom. Step forward, please.
43-year-old realtor Kathy McCrae and her daughter, 11-year-old Heather, are suing 44-year-old Brenda Higginbotham and 52-year-old Johnny Lathers. Kathy says Brenda and Johnny's son, 14-year-old Lawrence Lathers, shot her daughter with a BB gun.
All right. No, you stand up here. Step up. Only the children were there that day. The parents were not. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that correct? So, you were shot in the hand with a BB gun. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me what happened.
Me and my cousin Casey were walking down the street. His dog started barking at us.
Whose dog?
Lawrence's dog. So he told it to be quiet. Franklin and Mikey, those are some neighborhood friends of Casey's, they said that they could get the dog to be quiet, so they went inside and got Lawrence.
These two other boys? Mm-hmm. Went inside where?
Went inside his house. And
went inside Lawrence's house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And so he came out with a BB gun.
Who came out with the BB gun?
Lawrence did. So I was going to tell Casey, but she told me, she said, I know.
She knew what?
That he had a gun. So then we were going back. Casey said, just ignore him. So I did, and then we walked across. We were going to the stop sign, and he shot, and it had hit me in the finger.
How many people had BB guns?
Just him.
Okay. Is the BB still in your finger?
No, ma'am.
It was taken out?
Yes, ma'am.
It hurt you?
Yes, ma'am.
You have any scar there?
Yes, ma'am.
May I see it, please? Come on up here. Show me where.
Right there on the middle finger.
How many times did they try to take the BB out of your finger?
2 times.
Did it hurt?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was inside, and I seen them walking down the street because I was on the phone. The dog was barking, so the doorbell rung, and Mikey told me he came knocking on the door, and I told the dog to be quiet, and I told him he couldn't come around there because they don't allow him in my house. So he left, and then I went back inside, and I was on the telephone, and then they kept passing down the street, and I was just looking out the window. Then I told the dog to shut up again, and when they passed by, they was going down the street, then the doorbell rung again, and it was Mikey. And I asked him what he wanted, and he had this pellet gun. And he told me to come outside. And then he was shooting at the sign across the street.
What were you doing?
I was on the telephone at first.
Not at first. When you went outside, you brought your BB gun outside.
Yeah, I went and got my gun because he had
Right,
his.
you went and got your gun and you went outside.
But they was going down the street, but Mikey was still at my house. They had left after the second time, and they walked down the street, and then he came and rung my doorbell.
I heard that. But you left out the part that you went outside with your BB gun.
I went outside with my BB gun, and we were shooting at the sign across the street.
Right.
And then after that, I told him I was about to go inside because it was getting dark. And I went inside, and I got back on the telephone. And about an hour later, the police came.
Right. Good. Stand where you are.
The police came.
I'm not interested in what happened with the police. So you and your friend were shooting, and it is your defense that how can you tell which BB shot her?
Yes,
Is that
ma'am.
right?
Yes, ma'am.
Doesn't matter.
Well,
It doesn't matter. If two morons are shooting a BB gun out in the street and there are no markings on BBs so that you can't tell which gun it came from, they're both responsible.
Well,
Period. End of discussion. Don't try to make yourself appear foolish, sir. There's no discussion. That's why there's no issue here. You had absolutely no right to go outside and shoot that BB gun unless there was a totally clear space. Nobody there. Nobody could get hurt. And if you didn't train him to do that, or if you trained him and he didn't listen, you are responsible for his actions. Who bought him the BB gun?
Ma'am, the distance
Who
that they
bought
were,
him the BB gun?
We did. But
There you go.
The distance that the young ladies got shot at, BB guns doesn't reach that far.
What do you think? She shot herself in the hand?
Oh, well, she left there with little Frankie. Now, he had a BB gun. Now, what happened to his? Why he didn't do it somewhere? We heard this lady. She didn't holler when she got shot. Nothing happened. She didn't show nobody she was shot. She ain't told nobody. How can a kid get shot with a BB gun and says nothing to nobody?
Where did you want her to come back to your house?
Well, she could go to the neighbor's house. Anybody, a kid
She
should
went
go.
to her house.
Okay.
She went to her house.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Go ahead.
Mikey left Lawrence and went down the street where these girls were with his BB gun in his hand after he and Lawrence finished shooting.
Maybe.
So who is to say Mikey didn't?
Who's to say? I don't
shoot
know
it
who's
when
to
he was
say.
down there.
All I know is that two idiots were shooting BB guns into the street. And it had to be into the
They were
street where
shooting-
there were people and cars because there's a stop sign there which indicates that the police feel that that street corner is sufficiently dangerous to put up a sign, which means that cars cross and people cross.
It
They were
wasn't a
shooting.
stop
It wasn't a
sign.
stop sign.
He just told me he was shooting at a stop sign.
At the speed limit sign.
Yeah, but that's not.
further down
But that's
the
further
Judgment
down
for
the
the
street.
plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. Idiots. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
হ্যালো ফ্রেন্ডসরা, সবাই কেমন আছো? আশা করি সবাই ভালো আছো। আজকে তোমাদের সামনে আমি এই ফুলগুলো রং করে দেখাবো। ভিডিওটি না টেনে সম্পূর্ণ দেখবে। আমাদের ছবিটি রং করা সম্পূর্ণ হলো।